They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, bro?
I'm traveling.
Another week. I swear to God,
traveling.
We've said every day for 401 episodes. It just feels like we just did the episode like yesterday. Like, it's insanity. Insanity. Those of you that don't know what Generation X Gaming is, we're here Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern. We do about 44 episodes a year, 42, 44 episodes a year. We're here speaking of video games, entertainment news. We rant 8 p.m. Eastern. We're here. We're solid. If you want to watch our past broadcasts, you can go to Spotify and watch those. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm, anywhere else where podcasts are listened. On today's show, Sarge, we're going to be talking about Bit Reactor has a Star Wars tactical strategy game in the works. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about why console exclusive why gradual death to console exclusives make business sense. We're going to talk about Senior Riot Dev says League of Legends player base is getting older. Okay. We're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws can be finished in 30 hours. And also, Kay Vess, people have played it and she said, game feels a little OP, all right? Like, she just feels kind of OP. They're also talking about PlayStation. Sales charts back last month when Sea of Thieves came out. It was the hottest selling thing, and then just 2 weeks after that, it dropped dramatically in the player base over on PlayStation 5, so we'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about the Todd Howard interview that happened last week, talking about Starfield and other things about Fallout and whatnot. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about executives. EA executives earned $60 million in 2024 despite the layoffs last year. We'll have a little conversation about that. We're going to talk about Sean Layden talking about the game industry needs to show some patience with the video game industry. Okay. We're going to talk about Matt Booty has a little interview. We'll add to that a little bit. We're going to talk about Netflix. The creators of streaming services in the movie industry, taking people out of the theaters, is now making theaters so people can go back in. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Wonder Woman. Concept art was kind of leaked. We're not going to show any of that, but we'll have a conversation about that. We're going to talk about a banana clicking game, Sarge. We're going to talk about Nintendo a little bit. And I think that's about it. And we might not get to all these stories because we might get hitched on one or two and talk for those for a little bit longer. But this is what we do. We talk about video games, entertainment news. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to become a member as little as $5. Also on this channel, we do uploads, live streams, podcasts, gameplay. So lots of different things. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Lurker? Dave Rose, Dave Langer, Dumpy Koala. Nice to see you. What's going on, Brainchild? Krebsy, Dave Jones. Sarge, nice to see you in chat. Drummer Man, what's going on? Hold on one second. My son decided to come in and interrupt my podcast. Yeah, he wanted to know if I was using my account so he could play games. So it was nice of him, because one time he kicked me off when I was trying to show something. So learned his lesson.
Summer.
Now the lesson though is don't open that door. Don't open that door. All right. So, Sarge, another week. We're not what we've been playing, but do anything exciting this past weekend? Did you do anything fun? Did you watch anything? Did you see a movie, a TV show?
I mean, I don't do a lot. My routine is kind of small. I mean, I watched the Nintendo Direct.
The Nintendo Direct I thought was
Nintendo.
good. Yeah, it's Nintendo.
Yeah, it's
I thought it
Nintendo.
was good, but
Nintendo.
it's not for me. But I did see games. I didn't look at any of the games and go, oh, I need to play that. But I did look at the games and go, oh, I'm going to play that, because my son will go, I want that. Right? And then I'll try it, because the Mario Luigi Brotherhood ship, is that what it was called?
Brothership.
Brothership, right?
Brothership.
I know my role. right? You would think it's Luigi, but it's not. My son loves Luigi, so he'll be Luigi. I'll be Mario. We'll play the game together. The Mario Party game, I don't know if it's a separate game, I would think, right? It was a separate standalone Mario Party.
Jamboree.
Yeah. That look, we'll buy that. We'll play that. The Zelda game, Sarge. Actually, let's talk about that for a second. The actual Zelda game, right? It's actual Zelda. Like you're using Zelda in the Zelda game, and you're not playing Link. Okay. I thought it was interesting. I know people are going to look at this and go, "Oh, here we go. They're making it the girl," right? But you're doing something completely different than you do when you're Link and when you're Zelda. Zelda is more of a puzzle solving game, and you're using, they call them echoes, where you could echo basically everything in the game and use them.
Well, she copies things and then she can use them later to solve puzzles.
Correct.
My question would be,
I'm using the bed mechanic. That's what I'm using.
What's the list of items? Like once you start going like halfway through the game, do I have 50 items, or is it like 10? You know what I mean?
They said there's like, I think they said there's like hundreds of copies that you can make. Like you could take the villains that you find, the enemies that you find, use them as copycats to fight for you.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is the way they're describing the game is a puzzle solver. So if I keep copying all these things, does it really matter if I get a box or a bed or something else? It's always something I can step on, right? Or is it actual things that?
Yeah, I don't think you can like throw a bed at somebody.
Like for instance, if I'm in a room and a guy's coming at me and I only have a few choices to make before I have to put the thing down and get the hell out of the way, what's the list look like?
Well, you probably have a list, and you could put it in your hot bar, I would assume.
Okay, I'm hoping.
Again, I don't know. I would assume like if you have 100 to choose from, you could put like the most that you're using in the hot bar for like 5 or 6 of the most used ones.
But what you're telling me right now is something that should be in Skyrim forever ago.
Sure.
Skyrim hotbar for spells.
I think it'll be funny to see when people play this game, like they only use one echo. Like they find a box and they only play the game with that box and that box only, or the bed. Right. They blockade themselves or stack beds and they do a whole bunch of stuff.
You guys understand that I'm just looking for new reasons to play Skyrim, right? Like if you put a spell thing in Skyrim, like a hotbar for spells, it'd be perfect.
Sarge wants another redone Skyrim.
But I'm sure chat would agree with me. The weakest part of Skyrim, is being a full-blown wizard and having to pause and to change spells. That's true. The weakest part of the game.
That is true. I mean, the weakest part in Starfield is that goddamn main story mission where you go to the beep, 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 beep. That's all you do. You fly through 6 things and you stand there and you walk out the door and then shoot somebody. That's it. That's the weakest part of that game.
You know that when I played that originally, I didn't know there was a timer on it, and so I was stuck. I thought the game glitched out.
I did that once, so you just keep doing it.
I'm stuck in the room, and like, what's going on? That's like my 15th or 16th one I've hit. Like, what's going on in this game?
You have to do it fast, Sarge.
Yeah.
There's a mod now that just lets you do it once, and that's it.
Yeah, but should you need a mod for that? Should the developers just go back into the game and say, "Listen, you know what? Just put it for one."
Yeah. There's one that
does a guy have to go out there and make a mod to fix the game, or you could just go in and fix it yourself? It's your game.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it would have been funny if they, since there's a load screen to get from your ship to the thing, and then from the thing to your ship, and from the thing to there. You would think that you did the thing, right? And then you walk through the portal, and it's a load screen, and then you fight a boss. I've said it in the past. I just don't understand. Yeah, if someone can put a mod, anyone out there, I'm just going to put this out in the universe. If anybody wants to make 25 different bosses to when you collect the things and then you go through the boss and they have mechanics, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
And they use the ability that you're going to win from them against you.
Yes, and that's how you get it. Right.
When
you get the actual power from beating the guy with the power. Oh man, imagine the difficulty level of that, Sarge. Who would have thought that someone would have done that? It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Dude, Don't get me started on the multiplat. Okay, don't get me started on the multiplat. All right. So Sarge, another week. You play anything different? You playing on the same thing? It's time. I have to make a stinger for this. It's time to find out. Did Sarge play Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh, the answer is no. The answer is no. I came close. I came close on Sunday. I came close.
You at least put the key in the computer.
No, if I put the key in the computer, I'd be playing.
Oh, okay. Well, how about this? How about you put one code per week, and then maybe you'll get there one day.
I mean, it's not one of these things where I'm doing it on purpose for chat to be excited about this if I started or not. It's just that I really don't have time. Like I really don't. I'm barely playing the other games that I'm playing. Right? it just is what it is.
I just watched the video. I know we're talking about what we've been playing, but what I've been watching. I just watched the video on YouTube. A guy made a video. I forget his name. He's got like 600,000 followers. I don't know, almost a million followers. I don't know his name. He was talking about how he has a problem where he comes back from work and he sits down and he wants to play a game, but he can't choose what game he wants to play. And he just can't decide. There's just such a big backlog of catalog of games that he has, and he only has like 2 hours to play, and he doesn't know what he wants to play. And by the time he figures out what he wants to play, he can't play it anymore because it's just thing. He's like, I just pick a game. He's like, I literally just turn the thing on, I just pick a game, and then I just start playing it. He's like, and if I don't feel like playing it, then I'll switch games. But for the most part, while I start playing the game, he's like, I start enjoying the game again, so I just start playing. And he's doing another playthrough of Elden Ring. But obviously, the reason he's playing Elden Ring is because the expansion comes out on tomorrow, right? That's why he's playing Elden Ring. So while he was talking about this, I was like, well, that's everyone's problem. Like, that's what happens with Netflix. So I talked about that earlier today. I was like, when you watch Netflix, you don't know what you want to watch because it's just a wall of pictures. You're like, what movie do I want to watch? It's like top movies suggested for you, comedies, and you start going through the same. That's the same problem you have with Game Pass. When you go to Game Pass, there's just a slew of games that you're looking at. You're like, I don't know what to play, right? The back catalog. When you look at Steam, you scroll down your Steam library. You're like, what am I going to play? So did you play anything, Sarge? Did you play anything new this week or no?
Play anything new?
Well, not. Take the new part out. Did you play anything?
No. I always play something. Like, listen, as I said before, I don't go to sleep immediately. When I get home from work and like wind down, like I don't watch TV. I don't watch television. So like I play whatever game. I go through my library, I pick one, and I kind of just play. If I told you all the stuff I played, you guys think I would be a lunatic. Like I still play. I
played this game for 3 minutes. I played this other game for 5 minutes. I played this other game for 15 minutes.
Yeah. I still play Kingdom 2 Crowns. I'm not sure if anybody knows what that game is, but it's an actually...
That's a pixelated 8-bit or 16-bit, whatever.
It's a
co-op game, isn't it?
It can be. It's a side-scroller co-op game if you want it to be. It's kind of like a strategy game. The object is to get rid of the evil things called the greed, and the greed attack your village.
So you're like fighting the gaming industry off. I got it.
I mean, you could look at it that way, but you have to fight them off with money.
Oh,
you don't really fight them. Like there's not really a weapon in the game.
You pay them off.
Like you don't inflict direct damage to the enemy. You have to have other guys around you inflict the damage. Look it up if you guys are interested. It's just an 8-bit game or 16-bit game or whatever the hell it is.
What is it called?
Well, there's a couple of versions out there.
Okay,
the one I'm playing is called Kingdom 2 Crowns.
2 Crowns.
Yeah, Kingdom 2 Crowns. Right. And like I don't want to explain it to you because it's.
Well, here we'll put it up on screen.
It doesn't seem like it's difficult, but there's no instructions. Like there's 0 instructions. You have to learn how to play the game by playing the game. Like you can look it up online.
That's usually how you learn how to play a game is by playing the game.
Yeah, but that's the way this one is constructed. Like they tell you a little bit in the beginning, like do this, do that.
Can you murder that rabbit? Can you murder the rabbit?
Your guys murder the rabbit.
Okay. Oh, it's like a strip club. You're making it rain. You put all the coins on the ground. Then you go.
It's economic. It's a little strategy. It's And the thing.
So you're throwing money on the ground. You're upgrading buildings and your stuff.
The thing about this game I like is you can play like 3 or 4 hours in. If you make a mistake and you lose, you're done.
Oh.
But I think they changed it. There was a patch that went through where they just kind of reload you back to like your last save, so you don't feel like you lost everything.
So do you pay off people? Like there's the other army, you don't have to fight them. You just pay them off.
There's no how do I say this? So you start with literally nothing, right? You start with nothing.
How do you make your money?
The money is by you finding homeless people in the woods.
Okay,
and you pay them.
Sounds like California. Okay, so this is
right. You find the homeless people living in the woods, and when you pay them a gold coin, they become part of your town. So they'll walk towards your town, the center of your town.
Okay,
and the center of your town, your first building that you make is the town hall, and you have a bow and a builder. So it costs so many gold to make a builder. It costs so many gold to make a bowman, and so you get money by the bowman in the beginning. There's other ways to make money, right? But the starting way of making money is your bowmen go out during the day and they hunt whatever little critters are on the ground.
Okay.
And when they kill a critter, they get a coin. And when the guy runs over the coin, he picks it up. So what you end up doing by the end of the day is you walk past all your vassals and they give you the tribute that they collected throughout the day.
Okay.
Right? And so you can only hold so much. As a gold pouch in the top right-hand corner. I'm not sure you can see it on the screen
I see it.
Right. And that's how much gold you can actually hold. And when you get too full, the gold will just start falling off on the floor and fall into the river, and you lose it. So the idea is to upgrade
you have to spend it. Right.
Well, you have to spend it, or you have to upgrade your town hall to get the little accountant guy to come out. And the accountant guy comes out, he'll hold the gold for you.
Can you upgrade your bag at any time to hold more gold?
Nope.
No.
Okay. No bag upgrade. But your town hall can hold infinity.
That seems
right. So the idea is to find the boat, build the boat, go to the next island. There's 5 islands. Now, in order to defeat the greed, you have to be able to go to all 5 islands, find all the power-ups, and then go into the greed world and blow them up.
No, it's Jones. It's on console as well.
It's on console. It's just a fun game to play. Like I need a digital Valium. Is that the proper way I could say this?
That's my farming games or trucking games that I play. Yeah.
That's I play Minecraft or something like.
That's what I call a palate cleanser.
Yeah, I'm around people and there's noise all the time. Like I want quiet. Like I put headphones on and I hear the wind. You know what I mean? Yep. Like that's kind of like what I need. Right now, besides that game that I use as a digital Valium, right? I still play Hell Let Loose 3 times a week because I'm scheduled. Right, I still play.
It's your job, yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah,
right. I still play Dune Spice Wars because I think it's incredible. I'm finally understanding the assassination part of the game because it's become the longer the game is out, the more people understand what you're supposed to do with that.
Can I play Dune Spice Wars by myself? Can I play it without playing online with other people?
Yes.
Okay, I might try it. I might give it a shot this week.
It's very it's heavy strategy. It's like there's a lot of things you're weighing out.
That's fine. I just want to play against NPCs before I jump into against other individuals.
Like every once in a while, I'll load up Darkest Dungeon, right? But that game beats me up. That game to me is Elden Ring for me. Like Darkest Dungeon is what Elden Ring is for you guys. Like I like Elden Ring, but I just can't get into it anymore. I don't want to be aggravated. And like Darkest Dungeon's worse because you have a team of guys. And when they die, they die.
Yeah.
And then you have to start over. So like there's a bell curve in that game where if you don't power up and get the right guys early on, they get tired or possessed and they're out. And then you end up going down. You lose your guys. And that's it. You have to start over.
Did you see the game that's on Game Pass right now? It's called Isora. It's a World War I game. Have you seen this? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It looked actually pretty good. Inzo. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. Gameplay.
Are you just saying fake?
Yeah,
words?
I'm just saying fake words together to try to pin 2 things together. No, so here, Jay Frags, he played it over a year ago, 2 months ago. Here you go. This is on Game Pass right now. Okay, let me bring this up. This is on Game Pass right now. It's a World War I game. okay, and it's a first person shooter, so you're fighting like you do in Hell Let Loose or Battlefield or anything like that, and it looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good.
Oh, it's all bolt action rifles though. I remember.
Yeah, it's World War One. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all bolt action rifles.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good. This is JFrag's footage from 2 months ago. Dustin, have you played this? I know you like games like this. Have you tried this?
What's with the mountain climbing?
I know it's part of the game.
Mountain climbing is part of the game.
Yeah, so I don't know. I figured maybe. Well, we can't play next week because I'm out of town. But when I get back from out of town, like in 2 weeks, when we do the Wednesday shooting the shit,
is it PC or console?
It's on console. It's on PC, but it just came out on Game Pass. It literally just came out on Game Pass.
I'm afraid to download this, but I'll try it.
You're afraid because you might play it too much?
No, because when you play,
you gotta throw rocks at people.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm looking at it. I'm like, what are we doing here?
You gotta stop. You gotta get them off the mountain as they climb up. You gotta knock them off.
Okay, so then the guys at the bottom have to like shoot up then to
stop
the
guys from rocking, right? And then you have to.
Like, this isn't aggravating at all. Like this looks more. Honest to God, this looks more aggravating than being artilleried in Hell Let Loose. Like when there's a good enemy team that knows how to use artillery and you're playing Hell Let Loose, it is mouse and controller throwing insanity that you can't advance anywhere because you just keep dying by artillery. People lose their fucking mind. And then you'll hear them.
Here's the opposite angle.
Yeah, they'll scream into the mic. They recon, kill the goddamn arty. Like you'll hear people screaming. And it's like, it's not the arty guys. It's not the recon guys' job to kill everybody. I mean, there's some.
Lurker says it's World War One Donkey Kong sim. Yeah, he's throwing the barrels down at you.
It's what it is. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I saw it and I was like, oh, maybe we could play this on Wednesday night one night. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I think I would rather be artilleried than to climb a mountain and have rocks thrown at me. Like that doesn't seem fun. Like maybe call me old fashioned, but like when you play a take and hold objective thing, I like to see like multiple types of weapons, possibly some grenades, throw in a flamethrower or heavy machine gun.
There's a bolt action and a rock.
Just I think I would play that as long as I would play like a Nintendo 8-bit game. It'd probably be like 5 or 10 minutes and it'd be like next game. Like I get it. Everyone looks at it, looks cool. I get to throw a rock on a guy climbing a mountain. Like, is that the whole map? The only map is on the mountain?
That's all JFrag showed. He only plays usually one mission as he talks. Yeah. I'm sure there's more than one map.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than
I
one
won't
map.
say no. I'll look. Listen, it's not Star Wars or made by EA. I'll try it. I'll take a look at it.
That's right, Dave. Multi-weapons. If anyone wants to know the definition of multi, that means more than one weapon. There's multiple weapons.
Oh, well, just to get something out of the way, because everyone thought this morning that I was crazy. I want someone. I want to see. If, I want you to prove me wrong, chat. I'm looking forward to this. Right?
I did look it up.
I just want somebody in chat to type this sentence for me, and I want to see if it appears in chat. You ready? The sentence is, ready? The only way to save Star Wars is to ignore it completely.
Right. So
try to put that sentence in and see if it comes up on the screen.
Sarge put that in chat this morning and it did not show up. And he sent me a screenshot of him saying it and he typed it on his end, but it didn't show up.
Okay.
The only way to save Star Wars is ignore it completely. His worked out. The only way to save Star Wars is to ignore it completely. There you go.
Now, I think it was because hang on. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you doing that, Dave. Hang on. I'm going to show you. Okay. Now, this is the one I typed this morning. Right? All right, try this one, Dave. Star Wars needs to be... Okay, wait. Star Wars needs to be ignored to death in order to save it. Try that one. Star Wars needs to be ignored to death.
An exercise chat.
In order to save it.
This is a new segment that we're doing on GXG. Sarge says...
I'm telling you, I was censored. I was censored.
I believe you. I saw the screenshot.
I think it's because Star Wars was the first word, I think is what it was.
Yep. Well, it wouldn't surprise me because the last couple days, I thought I was going crazy on YouTube. There was things missing.
See, I think Dave can't get it to go now because he would have typed it already. I'll say it one more time. Star Wars needs to be ignored to death in order to save it. See if they could type that out.
Gene says, blank absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Listen, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I notice sometimes that YouTube does censor some of the words that you put in. It does.
Sarge, I did. Refreshed. It's gone.
Right? Krebsy says I typed it. I don't see it. It's not in chat.
Interesting.
It's not in chat, right, guys? You don't see it in chat, right?
Interesting.
Right? So I'm not crazy, right? Yeah. See, it's not there.
So when Sarge sent it to me, I said, "Oh, hold up a second," because when I used to review Star Wars and stuff, I didn't want people to come in and ruin stuff. So I thought maybe the word Star Wars was blocked, and it wasn't. So interesting.
Star Wars is blocked. Star Wars is blocked. When you say Star Wars first, it stops it from writing it.
Star Wars sucks ass, and that's there.
I don't get it.
That's interesting. So, yeah, because I thought Sarge was looking at like the top chat and not live chat. So look at what Disney's doing, or YouTube, what they're doing. Yeah, ignored to death. It might be Star Wars ignored to death. Yeah, but it's interesting because I'm not silencing
we're
words.
all on the same page now. I didn't make it up, right? We're all good. We can move on with the show.
Yeah,
I didn't make it up. We're all good, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. You tried to type it. It doesn't come up. We're good. Awesome.
Which is funny though, Krebsy, because ignore to death, you're allowed to type. But if you put Star Wars, Star Wars is not a person. Star Wars is an entity, right? It's not a person.
Look, Salty can type in Star Wars can eat a bag of dicks. That's fine.
It's very interesting though.
It's weird. Krebsy, see, it's weird. It's weird. Why is how I typed it not allowed to show? Right?
I don't know.
Star Wars needs to be ignored to death in order to save it, which I think is a true statement.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Ooh, Tracy Lord's good one, B. That's a good one.
Any other things? Hang on,
I'm gonna look up Tracy Lords real quick.
Have you played anything else, or no? That's it.
I mean, only the Battlefront with you.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That's always a fun time. I like playing that. I played a little bit of Fallout 76. We played Fallout 76 on Tuesday night. We did the weekly reset. I started playing the new map area and the new storyline. I think it's pretty good so far. The new map area seems interesting, right? There's like lightning going on, and you're trying to figure out the story of why the Vault 63, I believe it is, where the people in the vault are called the Lost, and they're all ghouls in that vault because you find out why. You could put two and two together why. But so there's like Lost, and these guys are like they've lost their minds basically, and so you have to like fight vault dwellers that are ghouls, and they have like this lightning. So if they run into you, they explode into this lightning. So it's pretty interesting there. The story so far that I've played, the map looks tiny in the area that it's on, but the actual map size of it's pretty large, right? And there's so far lots to do. They've done a really good job so far with Fallout 76. I'm not happy with the new season pass. The new it's based around camping and whatnot. They changed the how many things are on the per page. They make the first two short or smaller, and then they pack them in later down the line. But it's really easy. I'm already on level 13, 14, I think, within like 2.5 hours. And that's with me not putting extra XP on or anything like that. So there's ways around it. Someone already maxed out the season pass in 7 hours with all the bonuses that you can put on you with the food you eat and the groups that you link up with and stuff like that. So if you want to, you can get your XP up and finish the whole season pass in like 7 hours. So it's not a very big, not a very hard thing to do, which I respect because I tipped my hat to them last time because I wanted to play last season, and I went through the season pretty fast by not putting a lot of hours in. And I thought it was a pretty good time playing Fallout 76. So I'm excited that Fallout 76 is back with some new content, new story. So we're doing that. And then Starfield, we played the $7 mission that we talked about last week, Sarge. So last week we talked about the $7 mission. Is it worth it? Is it not? it's
No.
1000%. Just like I said before, I paid for it.
No.
It's not worth the $7. We first thought it was like an 8-minute long mission. Okay, I was like, this is nuts. $7 for 8 minutes, but there was more to this the mission. It turned out to be about 31 minutes to do the whole thing.
It doesn't matter.
No, I get it.
It's a testing ground to
Sure.
see if you'll pay for it.
Sure. So I played it. I tested it with the money that they gave me, so I paid nothing. So don't buy it. Wait for it to go on sale, or wait for them just to put a bunch of them in and then dump them all in at one time. There's plenty of other things you can do in the game. Do not get the $7 pass, right? Do not get that. So that's what I've been playing. I played a little bit of Starfield. I played a little bit of Fallout 76. I'm on like a Bethesda kick right now. What else did I play? I played something else. I can't remember. Oh, last week I played a little game called First Dwarf. We saw it at the Game Fest last week. It's a PC game. You're a dwarf and you're on this different planet. It's almost like Frontier Farm or whatever I played a couple months ago. You're a dwarf in a mech, okay? And the game mechanics is that you're trying to build your town to bring the rest of your dwarfs on, and you're allowed to say dwarf because that's the name of the game, right? So you're allowed to bring the dwarfs over to the thing.
Why? Why do you need to correct yourself?
I do it for humor. That's all. So you bring the dwarf and the group, the guild, whatever you want to call them. So you have to establish a base. You have to establish and you have to try to figure out why these portals are opening up. It's actually a pretty decent game. Right now, there's a demo going on, or early access that's going on Steam right now. It's called
PC only.
I believe it's PC only as of right now. It's called First Dwarf. It's actually pretty good. The game mechanics felt good. The building mechanics felt good. Just the whole premise of what the game is, it felt good. So you can do the demo. The demo's out there, and there's also an early access that you can get in as well. Other than that, I haven't played a lot of other things. That was it. I haven't played anything else. I was thinking about going back to Diablo 4 for like a split second just to check out the season, but then I got a hold of myself, and I said, nah, I don't want to do that. So I stepped on a nail, and I was like, oh, okay, took me away from downloading Diablo again. So, all right, let's talk about the top stories. Oh, you know what I just remembered, Sarge? I got to go back and play Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to have to do that when I get back from vacation because I think they just updated it, that mission. That mission came out last week, and I totally forgot about it. I'll have to play that one mission that wasn't on Xbox and PC for 1 year because PlayStation paid money for it. So
for what game?
Hogwarts Legacy. They had one mission that was supposed to be like the best mission in the game that was only on PlayStation.
They're still doing that shit?
Yeah, last year they did it for that. All right, so the first story we're going to talk about is BitReactor. BitReactor has a Star Wars tactical strategy game in the works. 15 XCOM veterans are on its team, and its ambitious vision for future of the genre. Okay, it says it's impossible to talk about the new studio BitReactor without talking about XCOM. 15 members of the team, about a third of our studio, and former Farax developers, veterans in series, include the co-founder, CEO, and creative director. I was also speaking to him and lead animator Hector, enduring the passion of the XCOM game shines through. So it's not surprising to discover that the Star Wars project has been working on is going to be a tactical strategy game, drawing to all of the experience for what it was hoped it will step forward for the genre. He says, I think the tactical strategy is a space. It's a space, and honestly, it has most room of any genre to grow through immersion and storytelling, the visual representation or presentation, and pacing of, says the director. He also got a lot of space to innovate in it. And for us, those are the kind of things that we want to focus on. And we think that we made a few games in the past that have displayed those things, and we're just a lot of tips of the iceberg in a lot of the cases. So I think we talked about this Star Wars game a couple of weeks ago, Starge, where they were trying to. We talked about another game about the sort of like.
Not this game, though.
No, I
don't remember talking about this.
No, I know, but there's more Star Wars games coming out, right? So are you excited? I know you liked XCOM in the past. What was that other game that we played a long time ago? It was like an XCOM, but it was called Cyber. No, it was
it was done Cyberpunk. It was in Cyberpunk.
It was Cyberpunk Universe. I forget.
It was called. Hang on, give me a minute.
I'm giving you a minute.
Guys, robotic guys in trench coats.
Yeah. But what was that called?
Syndicate.
That's it. That was it.
Syndicate.
Yeah.
Syndicate.
You like those type of games. I liked Syndicate back in the day. Are you excited for this Star Wars XCOM, or has Star Wars sailed away because of what Disney's doing to Star Wars?
Well, Star Wars has sailed away, period. But like I played the first XCOM, right, long time ago, and then I really liked the second one. The second one was when they were underwater, and all your guys.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You had to build the base, but your base is underwater the whole time. And so I really liked that one, and I played that one to the end, and it was very hard. It was a very difficult game, and I never played Iron Man on that one because at the time that the game came out, I didn't have the patience to have guys die and never come back. As I got older, when they re-released XCOM on Xbox, like whatever, I forget which one was. Enemy, is it Enemy what? Enemy
Within.
Enemy Unknown.
Enemy Unknown. That's it. Enemy Unknown.
Enemy Unknown, I think, is what it was called.
A movie, I think.
Yeah. So when I played that one on Xbox, I really enjoyed it because it brought me back, and the same mechanics are there, so I didn't have to like relearn the game over again. But the dice rolls for crit chances are still. They make you so angry, especially when you spec out a guy for close quarters with a shotty. And you run him into cover and you take the free shot and he's like 2 squares away and you miss both shots.
Right.
It's almost like the game is telling you.
I hate that.
No, it's like,
yeah, I hate that.
That's the only part of the game where I don't like the whole dice roll thing or whatever the percentages are a little weird, because when you're that close with a shotty, it should just be a hit at this point. That's the whole point of making a guy like that. So once I realized that the dice rolls were not going to help me in that game, I switched over to all long range. In one of the games I had 2 medics and 4 snipers. I got news for you. When you have 2 medics and 4 snipers, it just and by the way, they're spec'd out. It's game over. Like I saw a guy beat the game with 1 character, just a sniper. So I know it's possible, but I remember going through the game with 4 snipers and 2 medics, and it was end of story.
No,
because everything. You want to pick the other characters, but it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why I would want anything else. I want the best guy with the best aim, with the best range, with Overwatch, and like have a nice day.
This is the game we were talking about, Krebsy.
That's Syndicate.
This is Syndicate. This back in the day was a fantastic game.
This game back in the day was done really well.
Yeah, very good, very well.
I mean, for the time period. The time period.
I love this game back in the day. Absolutely love it.
You know, it's almost like a puzzle solver as well, because you have to figure out how to get to the guy, how to kill him. It's not just always an all-out war, because otherwise you lose guys. What was that game you played? That it was the World War II, and they were all spies, and they were all on different missions, and they each had different powers, and you had to try to break into like Nazi bases and try to steal plans Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I played that as well. I don't remember the name of it though.
I don't remember the name of that one, but it's almost the same kind of thing. It's turn-based.
We had so many turn-based games that we played. We had a Mafia one that we played. There was a Mafia game that was turn-based.
We had turn-based games, bro, because your PC couldn't handle real-time shit.
Yeah. So we had that Mafia game. There was a Mafia one that you did. I think it was called Gangsters, wasn't it? Originally called Gangsters, or Gangsters 2, right? I think that's what it was called.
But there's so many of them though. There's Mafia 2. Then there's was it called Gangsters? Or...
I think it was called Gangsters. Let me see. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was called Gangsters.
Gangster?
Yeah. Let me bring it up. Yeah, this is Gangsters.
I mean,
where you had the map, and you had to reclaim all the different areas, and you were like running a business, and you had to collect guys. And then you would send them
religiously. You had to actually hire guys, start businesses, protect the businesses, run moonshine, run casinos, run brothels, and then have your guys walk up and down the streets protecting your stuff. It's very overwhelming if you don't understand, because the whole game is
set things on fire. You just burn businesses down and stuff like that.
Burn businesses down. Yeah.
I loved all these games when we played them back in the day, right? We're going down. I loved it because they had the extra cameras up in the upper left hand corner.
Who made the left turn at Albuquerque? You were just talking about games you played. What the hell happened?
We were talking about XCOM, right? We were talking about XCOM, and then we started going down the rabbit hole of these. You were talking about XCOM. I was like, oh, remember that game, Gangsters? Remember Syndicate? And
so, wait, I'm getting back on the track.
We're talking about the Star Wars game. We're talking about the Star Wars game. Right. Yeah.
So if it's done as well as the XCOM, I would say I would give it a 50-50 shot. Honestly, 50-50 shot, but just because it's a Star Wars shell over top of it doesn't mean, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean like it's an automatic.
I do, but see, if XCOM I loved, right? I love Syndicate. I love those games back in the day. But now if you give me a Star Wars one, I've always said it on my channel. If you give me something with Transformers, Marvels, or Star Wars, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Put a new coat of paint on the Dodge Dart. It's gonna be a great game. Like, no, bro, it's not.
I'll always give it a shot because minus the Star Wars in Disney Star Wars now, right? Like, if you give me the exact same game but with an IP that I like, I'm gonna give it a shot because I already know the IP, so I enjoy that IP. So I want games to be good. I don't want it to just be a coat of paint with the IP that I like on it. I want it to be a good game, but at least I'm interested in that game because of the coat of paint that's on it.
The only reason why you say that is because it's going to get you to play the game 5 minutes longer than you would normally try it. That's the only reason.
Sure, because I would rather play a game like that than a brand new game that I don't know anything about. That I don't know if it's going to suck. I'll be like, well, if at least it sucks, at least I know it's Star Wars.
I don't mind them making a Star Wars game with an XCOM game mechanic. That's fine. My whole issue is,
give me a Baldur's Gate 3 Star Wars, I'll be okay.
That's a completely different area too. I just don't want any more of this nonsense where people own the license for an IP and they're the only ones that can make it. I'm done listening to that nonsense. I want as many studios to make as many types of games that they want in whatever genre they want and whatever IP they want. None of this fucking I own the licensing nonsense. It's already bad enough that we have to wait 5 or 6 years in between a game because they're the only ones that can make a game. So they have basically carte blanche to decide if that game releases or not. Like, that's nonsense.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these guys do with the Star Wars style. I'm excited to see what the Total War Star Wars, that game that's supposed to be in the works as well. I would like that as well. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with these Star Wars. Now I'm excited now because of the thought of what they could do. Now, obviously, when we see these things, that's a completely different excitement, right? Like, okay, well, they could have done this, they could have done that.
Yeah, but the skeleton for games that would do well is already out. They just don't change over the IPs to things that people are interested in. Like, for instance, I know I'm going off left field here. So what if we took the Battlefield? What happens if you took the Battlefield game the way it is, and instead of being Modern War or World War II, it was Transformers? Like, I'll go the other way. It's good Transformers.
I'd be interested.
It's a campaign.
Yep.
You're a Transformer, and you go through the campaign, and at the end, then you have Cybertronian bases. You have to build bases up. You have vehicles, right? Except that the vehicles, here's the trick, right? Instead of you getting into vehicles, you would go to the certain area of the map, and when you touch those zones, you can change into that vehicle. Like, if I go to the airfield, I can change into the plane.
That. Yeah, you unlock it.
Right, and then once I pick that thing, then when I'm running around the map, as long as I don't die, I'm still the same vehicle, right?
Right, unless the other group takes over that part, then they get right.
Right. If they took over the airfield, then you can take you can change.
You can turn into a tank, or you can turn into the airplane.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I'm totally into that.
The G.I. Joe one, bro, that's pure gold. That's to save the whole industry, period. The G.I. Joe one. Now, the other one I like would be, now I would also think this, you'd have your own little like end game moment, is that you have the same Battlefield type of thing, except now it's superheroes.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Right? There's a list of superheroes, and then you get to pick them, and so the superheroes are fighting other superheroes.
Yeah.
Right? The bad guys versus the good guys. That way we don't have to piss anybody off in Iraq or China by putting a bad guy on the with the flag. Right?
Could there be like
superheroes versus supervillains?
Could there be the same Iron Man on each team, or do you only do one per?
Well, no, but my point is this: like, I'm Lex Luthor, right? I spawn in as Lex Luthor. Now I can only one Lex Luthor.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Yeah,
so nobody's got the same fucking thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Luthor,
yeah.
He's running now, but Lex Luthor, when Lex Luthor goes over to the vehicle area, whatever, he spawns his own Lex Luthor shit, right? Not the fact that he spawns a regular tank. He spawns the Lex Luthor thing, right? Because it's him, right? Now,
cool.
if Batman went to
Batman's got the bat
it'd
tank,
be Batman
bat plane,
things.
yeah.
Okay, so you'd have all the stuff flying around, and like who you're fighting, right?
I mean, I'm sold, Sarge. Where can we start crowdfunding this?
Of course, it's bro. Put me in charge. I have a game out in 3 years. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, let's make the same game again.
we made the best motion ever. The guy sits on the ground and rolls around. He could do a butt lift and he could crawl prone. It's gonna be the best Call of Duty ever. I'm watching that and I'm going, are you guys fucking serious right now? Are you guys excited about fucking crawling around?
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for it.
That's the best thing you got to show me for a fucking video game.
It's the Kona vision for Madden, only it's
so you want me to believe it's taking you 10 years to figure out how to move prone on the ground?
Super innovative.
I'm pretty sure didn't we move prone on the ground back in like Battlefield 1? Didn't we crawl backwards in Battlefield 1? I'm pretty sure we crawled backwards in Battlefield 1. Why couldn't we? What? I mean, what?
I think the studio would be called STS. It'd be shooting the shit studios. It'd be STSS, all right? And we just make multiplayer shooter games. We have Transformers, we have G.I. Joe, we have Marvel, we have DC.
So like for the bad guys, right? When you get to the last flag,
shooting shit studios.
Let's just call it the DC version, right? We'll call it the DC version first. So the good guys are advancing onto the bad guys, right? And then the last flag of the bad guys comes out of the ground. It's like the Legion of Doom, Darth Vader head comes out of the ground.
It's like the boss fight. Right? You have to protect
right, and you guys have to fucking win against that. Like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, or better yet, it's the G.I. Joe version, and the fucking terror drone comes out of the ground.
It's the same version of what happened in Battlefield when you bring in the tank or the blimp. It's the last.
We can't make fun, exciting games with good IPs that people would want to see. Who wants to be a superhero fighting around and fighting other superheroes? That sounds lame, Sarge. I want to go back to crawling around on the ground. Version 8.6. Guy can crawl around backwards. He's all backwards now. I can shoot you on the ground backwards. Like, that's amazing. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sold forever. Whatever you make, Sarge. The next one that we're going to talk about is that it says why gradual death of console exclusives makes business sense. Now, in this article, he talks about how basically because Lego Horizon Adventures is coming out on Switch and PC and PlayStation's moving towards that direction. It's not coming out on Xbox, but he's saying that more and more studios are going to start making games for multiple platforms, right? And this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. So basically, Sarge, do you see, even though PlayStation is not doing day and date, do you see them taking their IPs like this? The IP is not per se the game itself, like a God of War. Do they take The Last of Us, Uncharted, Little Big Planet? Do they make other games with the IP, but then put them on other platforms to kind of broaden the horizon of other? Because last week we talked about, I thought it was a smart move that they're doing this for Lego because they're trying to get the younger kids to know what these IPs are, like a Mario, like a Pac-Man, a Sonic, and stuff like that.
You're planting the seed of recognition, so when they get older, they see the game and want to try it.
Right.
Sure.
So you don't have to technically take God of War and put it on, right? You can make it like what Minecraft did with Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft Legends, right? Minecraft is Minecraft, but they made Minecraft Dungeons into a Gauntlet style, Diablo style type of game, and they took Minecraft Legends and took an RTS and made it into their own spin. Could they do that with other games from like studios from Xbox and also from PlayStation?
It depends on the popularity of the characters, first of all. And then my next question would be, doesn't that break the rules from before? Like, remember in the 80s where you had a toy and then you made the show, and the whole point of the show
was for
you to sell the toy. Right. And the commercials during the show were of the toys. Like, that's every cartoon we've ever watched growing up. So my question is, how is that different than putting your characters in a game so you guys recognize the game, so for later on you buy the game? How is that different? I wonder.
It's not. I don't think it's different. I think it's the same thing. It's not to say a 1-to-1 ratio of it, because you're not selling a physical.
Well, because they banned it in the early 90s. They banned it. That's why all the cartoons and toys, everything took a nosedive, because they weren't. Your toy wasn't promoted by the show anymore.
Right.
Like, every toy we grew up with had a show. Like that's
right.
That's how they sold the toys. Right. That was the whole thing. So they
were just 22-minute long commercials for the toys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so they banned it. they banned it. They said they weren't allowed to do it anymore. So this just seems like another version of that, just done a little differently. I'm not saying it's 100% or it's bad, but you're taking characters and IPs that you have, putting them in a game for a younger audience, so that later on the younger audience recognizes your game later to want to play the game. It's the same.
Yeah, in the article, he also talks about how other companies like Nintendo's making the movies with Mario, right, and Sonic and all that other stuff. They're branching out of just selling in their. I mean, they've always done this, but now they're doing it more, right? Because there's this finite amount of the saturation point's there for the consoles, right? There's 250 million people playing console games, or 300 million people playing console games, and that's across the board. That's Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. Okay. Outside of the consoles, there's an additional billion people playing PC. There's an additional 100 million people, 200 million people playing mobile devices or whatever, right? So there's a saturation point. So obviously, if you want your IPs to grow and you got to start making movies, you got to start making TV shows, you got to start making theme park rides or sponsorships or you know what I mean? Like, and this is what Nintendo's doing, right? Nintendo's making in Universal, they're making a Nintendo World. They're putting Donkey Kong in there and Mario in there and a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Sony's making films as well. They're trying to branch out. They're trying to use this, and this is why he's saying that the exclusives for the console exclusives going bye-bye is just it makes sense for the industry. And I think this is the way. I think a lot of people think old school, like you have to have the console, and the console is the only way you're going to make money off of this. And that's not the way now. The beast is completely different.
You listen, PlayStation knows it, Xbox knows it, Nintendo even knows it.
Of course.
But they're not going to talk about how consoles are leaving, because that would destroy their whole base. People would stop paying attention. So they just go along with what's going on.
Gradually start putting it on.
And gradually start doing the digital stuff over. So when it does time to say, and the market does show it without you being able to hide it, we're just like, people aren't buying consoles anymore. Not because they decided, I'm not buying a console.
Right.
Like, they just go, well, I purchased 680 digital products, and I don't put them on my console. So, like, why do I need a console? You say it to yourself, why do I need a console? So then you just don't buy the console because you have access to these other things already, right? It'll just be done like that.
Just like just a couple years ago, right? We were all physical, and all of us were like, "There's no way I want physical. I'm never going digital."
My girlfriend the first month,
right? And then all of a sudden, now we're all like, "I don't care. I'm good with just digital." Right? A lot of people, it swung huge. So now people are looking at, well, I don't really own it, right? Now it's just going to go to cloud. It's you just get conditioned. You don't even know. You're the frog in the pot being boiled, and you don't know until it's too late.
You not only will you not buy the console, you'll voluntarily do it on your own. Like, I don't need a console,
right? Just like Destiny did with your guns, right? They're like, well, no, we're not sunsetting, but these guns are just better, and you're not going to have a room in your inventory, so you're just going to have to skirt those out, right? It's the exact same thing until they make you sunset because they had a new thing. Right. All right. Next story. Senior Riot devs, say that the League of Legends player base is getting older, and with fewer newbies jumping in, candidly, it's not the same situation it was 10 years ago. So, a common problem in long-running live service games, how to onboard new players into something this complex. He says, we definitely always thought that League of Legends was a young person's game between the fast Switch esports focus, meta, K-pop tie-ins, and overtures of streaming influencer culture. Was all happy to act my age and hang up but now the Defender of Tomorrow hammer a full 10 years ago. But this turns out that who kept playing League of Legends also kept getting older because times work the same, whether you're not into MOBAs or not, K-pop or slamming your heads against ranked queues. They think certainly true that the audience is aging up, and the game director said that the recent Q&A around the Summer Game Fest, though, that noted that it's not inherently a bad thing. He goes on to say, candidly, it's not the same situation it was 10 years ago. There's also a middle school or high school of League that the game everyone is talking about, but that everyone is playing, said Liu. There's also a lot of other games that are competing with us now. It says Roblox and Fortnite certainly spring into mind as those unnamed new schoolyard favorites. But Liu also acknowledged that League has other issues that are also putting new players off, like Endemic, Smurf accounts from experienced players starting over from scratch, as well as kind of ballooning systems and features that other long-running live service games like Destiny and World of Warcraft have to run into. He says it's very, to make an improvement, to need to make a moving into the future. He says. He also continues in saying that when the league first launched, we saw very, very few players that also played ranked. It was also it was all the normals that also just experimental learning the game. And then he says Van Roon explained that the middle years, they saw sort of a more shift towards focused ranked competitive play, especially from the people in late high school and also college. That all tracks up with his own experience of League of Legends in 2010, shifting from having fun with friends to sweaty, and we talk about this, right? Because we used to play the sweaty games all the time. And when we were what? Late teens, early 20s. Okay. And now we're like, I don't feel like playing sweaty games anymore. You want more strategic, right? You want more things to work with the team to work together.
Okay, but you have to understand, when League came out, they are correct. There wasn't a lot of stuff out there. So it was very strategical to play with your buddies and learn the moves of the character to know who could help who, right?
Right.
And so that's what made it an actual fun game. Then when people started getting into it, the trash talking and everything else starts. But the issue is that it was a fun game first that led to strategy, that led to competitiveness.
Right.
Right.
Which led to aging out.
Game first, right? But younger kids don't like that kind of thing. They don't have the attention span to learn the character. Why do you think we've gone from League of Legends to
Fortnite, to Roblox, to whatever? Yeah.
Why do you think?
Yeah.
Like it's because they don't have the patience to sit down and actually do it. It's just supposed to be mindless fun. It's not about being challenged. I get it.
The same problem that movie theaters are having right now, or movie companies are having. Gen Zers don't want to watch. They don't want to go to movies. They don't want to watch Marvel. They don't want to watch Star Wars. So they're trying to aim for this bracket of people that just don't give a shit about watching these things. It's the exact same thing with video games. Even though these people are playing video games, they don't care about diving into learn this game and be a master at this game. They're just kind of like casually playing games and whatever's the hottest, latest, greatest, Among Us, Roadblocks, whatever it is, the latest, greatest craze, that's what they're going to go play.
I get it. But the issue is, it's their fault for not putting in something while they were growing up that was culturally advantageous for their demographic that they grew up with, that they would follow.
Yeah, but how would
we followed the same IPs for fucking 40 years?
Yeah, but to be fair though, when we were younger, we didn't have a live service game that kept going except MMOs. MMOs were the only things out there. But if you played a game, hold on a second.
Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. If you're playing a game like Battlefield 1 and then Battlefield 2 comes out, you just move from Battlefield 1 to Battlefield 2. You're not playing Battlefield 1 for 10 years. This game's been out for 10 years. You're just playing 10 years. So now you're playing up against games like Destiny, now World of Warcraft. You're playing all the other MMO type of games. So those people grow with that one game back in the day. They weren't switching from one game to the next. And the games that they were competitive wasn't games like that where they were here for 10 years. They were only there for 1 year and they just moved on to the next sequel. And they moved on to the next sequel.
But the IPs are throwaways.
Sure.
There's no basis of what you like. You like a genre, you don't like the IP. There's a difference. I like first-person shooters.
Correct.
Do I buy every first-person shooter? No. I buy the IPs that I like.
Correct.
The filthy casuals don't care about the IP. They just play first-person shooter.
But that's what I'm saying. Riot's competing against other things that come in, and Riot Games is not going to make a League of Legends 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and come out every single year.
Not feasible.
Right. They're not going to do that.
Feasible.
So they're competing against a landscape that's completely different than back in the day when we used to play video games, because we would just go from one sequel to the next sequel of that game that we liked.
Okay, but let's back up the truck now. League of Legends has been out a long time.
10 years.
Have
11 years.
They done anything for that game?
15 years.
They've basically left it the same. They've done upgrades and updates, but has there been like a new thing, a new game, a new something?
That's what called.
No, they rolled the dice. They let that game rot, but because they let it not that they let it rot, but they've made the game the way it was, and it had a huge player base. So they went like this. Well, we don't need to do anything.
Right.
Huge player base.
And this is
huge
why.
Player base. huge player base. You don't need to do anything. So after 10 years, now there's no player base anymore. Like, I don't understand what happened. Where did your player base go? You sat on your ass for 10 years because you were happy with the giant pile of people that were on there.
This is why Activision has changed Call of Duty so much, because over the last 10, 15 years of Call of Duty, yeah, you can still play a first-person shooter game with Call of Duty, but they started adding different things. They started adding the zombie mode. They started adding the DMZ mode. They started adding the Warzone type of game, right? They just kept doing it, right?
It is impressive. Krebs is right. It is impressive.
Sure.
But you didn't nurture it.
Right.
You were just happy.
The kid that started at 15 years old is now 30 with a family.
Go look at how many people still play Dota and League of Legends. The numbers were tremendous.
Sure, but they're not
years.
But the problem that they're saying is that their player base, if they were 10 when they started, and at 10 they weren't ranking and doing like hardcore matches, they were just playing the game like you said. And then they got into their mid-teens, 5-6 years in, they started playing competitively. It blew up, world domination and whatnot. And now those people that were competitive are now family guys or girls, right? And they're not competitive anymore. And the people that didn't get into competitive, they have all these fans, but there's no one filling in that position for them.
Because they never
adapted.
They never made an entryway game that would lead those kids to want to play League of Legends.
Right. And this is why Riot tried to.
Whose fault? Do you think it's the fans' fault because they aged out? No.
I didn't say it was anything with the fans' fault. They're just saying that their player base is too old. They were trying to also make other games that they put onto the.
That I don't like the take, right? When you say to me the player base is too old, that's not the take. The take
That's
is
the take he's having, not me.
I don't like the way they phrase it because it's incorrect. The player base you had is the player base you had. They're too old. It's not it. You didn't find your replacements to fill in the blank, to fill in the gaps for those people that are aging out. You didn't fill in the blanks. They aged out. Aging happens.
Well, this is
you made nothing. You made nothing in 15 years that would lead more people to actually want to think that the game was fun and want to get involved in it, because the easy way out was to make Roblox in Fortnite. And so you're happy with that. So wash your hands of League of Legends and move on.
This is why Riot Games was trying to make the MMO. This is why they were trying to make other games with the IP that they have. This is why Riot made the game the Netflix show of the Acolyte, not Acolyte. What the hell is that? The show called? Acolyte's on my head now. I can't think of it. Chat. I'll put it in chat. But they made they're trying, just like we talked about with Sony and what they're doing with them and Nintendo. They're trying to branch out their IPs. Riot was trying to do this, right? Arcane. That's what it is. I got it before chat put it in there, right? The Arcane show, like they tried to take their IP and make other games around the world of this, because they saw it. They saw what was happening, where people were playing the game of League of Legends and they were getting older and older and older, and they're like, well, what do we do? We're losing the player base. So they were trying to make other things to capture younger generation or try to capture other people, but it's not working, because one, the MMO is not coming out anytime soon. I think they might have canceled another one of the games, right? Arcane season 2 is coming out, I think, this year or next year or something like that. So there's a lot of things that kind of got put on the back burner for Riot. But at the same time, I mean, I get it. You know, I mean, you can't be a game developer and plan to make a game that's been out for 15 years and go, well, no one, like, yeah, you had a shift. You had a shift 7 years ago.
You were lucky the game lasted 15 years,
right?
The same. Listen. The same problem is happening right now that happened 10 years ago. The difference is they are unwilling to solve the problem now when they were fully capable of solving the problem in the past. And I'll tell you what I mean. When you made a game, you sold the game, long play, short play, multiplayer at the end, you bought the $70 game, the $60 or $50 game, and you played the game and you put it away. Right? Multiplayer games lasted longer, like a Battlefield or sports games lasted longer until the next issue came out. But otherwise, you bought a game, you played it, and you put it away. Now, they want you to play the game and keep playing the game and keep playing the game.
Charge you $500 for a skin.
Right? So now, everything has got to do with engagement and this parade of nonsense to keep me inside the game. The answer is the same. There's only so many people. They only have so many hours.
So many time.
And there's and how many more games are there today than there was 10 years ago? We are way off the scale, bro, of numbers of games that are out in the market now to try. And if you want me to play your game, cool. Take my money, I play your game, and then I'm done with it. I put it down. But none of them, not one company says, we're happy we played we're happy that you purchased the game and that you enjoyed it. And that's all they say. No, they go, we got another game, got a live server, we got a live service, we got some NTX, we got a battle pass, like everything they keep saying was like, you got to get back in here, get back in here, get back in here. Like, bro, there's 10,000 games. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
This is why I think Microsoft kind of pivoted with the Minecraft brand, right? Minecraft is huge, right? One of the, if not one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game out there for kids, teenagers, adults alike, all play it. I still play it. You still play it. My son still plays it. He's 9. I'm 46, right? So there's a huge amount of people playing Minecraft, and this is why I think Minecraft made a Minecraft Dungeons. This is why I think they made a Minecraft Legends, where Legends didn't work very well for them, but they at least put something out there. Right. They tried and put something out there. And I think they'll do that more in the future. And other companies have done this as well with their IPs. And this is why I think Sony's doing with the Horizon IP. They're putting it out there to try something different with the IPs. Riot's sitting here going, well, they're getting older and we got no one to replace. Like, well, you didn't fucking pivot fast enough.
That's your fault.
Yeah, you didn't pivot fast enough.
I'm sorry. The game that lasted 15 years for no other reason that it was the only thing to play in that genre. Now you're upset that there's somebody out there's no one replacing. Like, I don't know what you guys want.
Right.
Like 15 years of the game, and you got to. And by the way, they sold characters. Remember, they kept adding characters, and you had to learn a new character and start over. Like, it lasted 15 years. I don't know what you guys want. Right? You guys, they want this. They want this forever. Right. I entered Microsoft at 27. I entered Microsoft at 27. When I retire at 65. The line still was doing this. Like, that's not how it works, bro. It's not how it works.
That's exactly right, Paul. The longer the live service game is out there, the harder for new players to pick it up, right? Because they feel intimidated, overwhelmed.
You
right?
get smoked.
Right.
You get smoked.
You got guys mastering 22 characters, and you're coming in with one character, and you're just getting your ass pushed in every single time. That's not fun, right? You're being gatekeeped out because the other people are like, oh, look at this guy coming in. And they just wreck you, and you're like, you personally could be motivated to try to beat those guys. But at that time,
but that population is small,
right? Very small.
People who are willing to overcome adversity in anything, not just a video game. People who are willing to overcome adversity, that population is very small. You want to know how I know that? Because not everybody owns their own business.
So
that's why.
I have a question, Sarge. So for Riot Games, for League of Legends, how could they right now? Not what they had to do 5 years ago. What could they do right now to change with all the characters they have? I don't know how many characters. Chat. How many characters does League of Legends have right now? What do they have to do to get new player, like injection of new players, and also not scare off the old people that are playing the game, right? Because the old people are still playing the game, but how do they get new people to come in without scaring them off from the new players?
You want the truth? You want the hypothetical?
Both,
right? Well, the truth is you can't. That day has passed. The attention span for the generation of kids that you're trying to market to don't care about that game anymore. They're not interested in that game anymore. There is at least 10 other games that they want to try before they try that game. It's done. Right? Now, if you wanted to change it up and whatever else and start a big controversy where people are typing on the screen for 3 weeks, I can't believe they changed League of Legends. It's a piece of shit. And get that kind of engagement for 6 months because they try something completely new to try to get people in here, even though the numbers do this and there's an argument for 6 months, but really at the end, the game is dead. You know what I mean? Like, the game is done. It's lived its life.
Now, I'm not a big League of Legends guy. I don't know much about League of Legends, so I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it already might be there, but I'm gonna give my thoughts what they could do. Okay, they gotta put sort of like what Call of Duty is doing, where if you want to play Call of Duty as a single player campaign, right? There's also a mode for zombies co-op where you can play with zombies. There's also a co-op thing for other things. There's like team deathmatch. There's Warzone. There's DMG. There's a lot of options within the thing, right? Same with like Roblox and Minecraft. Minecraft, you could play the single player, you could play creative mode, you could play with mods, you could play with it. I think what League of Legends needs to do is they need to put some sort of PvE event type thing in there, right? Where people work together against NPCs and whatnot, where if they don't want to go into the sweaty MOBA type of thing, they could literally just take the characters and have a battle, a war, or something where they bring them into a different game mode to get people to come into there to start playing. And then if they like that, sort of like what Fortnite does, right? There's the Battle Royale, but there's also Save the World. If you want to play Save the World, I think Riot could do something like that. Instead of making a separate game, they can make a separate mode with inside League of Legends to kind of cultivate and bring people in that might not have any interest in the MOBA, and they play with the characters and like that, and then they start bringing them in, going, oh, I really like using this character. Let me see what this MOBA stuff is about, right? And they could sort of bring in new player base that way. That's my take.
The people that made League of Legends were never part of the industry that was happening around them. They found a game that happened to hit on all cylinders at that time. Nobody knew League of Legends was going to blow up like that, or Dota. Like I apologize, Chad. I forget who was first, if it was League or Dota. I don't remember. But that genre game, the MOBA, right? Yeah. From what I understand, it was a game. Once again, it's been a while now. It was a game meant to be something else, and it accidentally turned into a MOBA. It wasn't like that wasn't the original game that was supposed to.
It was happen. A mod. It was a mod originally, and it turned into what it was.
Right. So in essence,
I think that was Dota though that did that first.
Yeah. So in essence, that game became that, just like Fortnite became that. Like, it wasn't made that way. It was a completely different game, and some accident happened, and it turned into a really huge game, a huge following that lasted years. Fortnite on this end, League of Legends on this end. Same thing.
This is what I think that Overwatch was trying to do, but they also failed miserably. They were trying to do that PvE / where you could play the MOBA hero shooter, right? Or you could play that PvE content. And I think Battleborn was another one. Battleborn had MOBA, but MOBA failed because of the other MOBAs that were out in the market, right?
Was it flooded?
Right, it was flooded. They should have doubled down and kept that PvE aspect out there, because people would have played the game and then they would have also played the MOBA. But they were all in on the MOBA, and MOBA failed because they were going up against the big wigs of MOBA, right? So I don't know. That's what I think about that. All right. So the next story I want to talk about is Star Wars. Star Wars Outlaws can be finished in about 30 hours, says creative director. Now, I think this is a good size for the game, Sarge. 30 hours. I think games like this, look, I love really long games. I like playing games for hundreds of hours and stuff like that, but not everyone's like me, right? And I think a sweet spot for games like this, like an Outlaws, like an Assassin's Creed, like a God of War, like an Uncharted, somewhere between 15 and 30 hours, I think is a good. So even 30 hours is pretty long for a lot of people to play, for the casuals, for a lot of the people that just want to buy the game and enjoy it, where they don't feel like they have to put like a month's worth of time in, right? A lot of people are pushing back on this, going, oh, it's only 30 hours. I think this is fine, right? And that's just for main story. That's not for completionist or anything like that. You could put an additional 30, 40 hours into this easy, I would assume, with Star Wars Outlaws. Again, they say the main story is 30 hours. What do you think? This is good enough?
But people that are saying that Outlaws 30 hours is not enough is the small minority. The casual, excuse me, I referred to them incorrectly. The filthy casuals, 30 hours is plenty. And I can guarantee you the filthy casuals won't even finish the 30-hour campaign, right? The people that love Star Wars, that love it, they want to be in there longer, so 30 hours to them isn't long enough. But for the population base that the company is looking for to purchase the game, 30 hours is plenty, right? They've done studies on this. The average gamer only plays X number of hours. Like, they don't care. They don't care. The ones who really care about the game are the ones typing right now. Click, 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 click. 30 hours is ridiculous. Skyrim was 125. It's incredible. Like, that's the argument you're going to get. But for the basic group of people, they don't care, right? 30 hours is plenty, bro. Plenty.
Real quick to fact check, Dota was the mod. Dota was the mod, and it was a fan-developed multiplayer online battle arena. And the mod for the video game from Warcraft 3, Reigns of Chaos, in its expansion. So that's what it came from. It came from Warcraft into what that was. At least that's what it says here. So someone can double check me or whatnot.
I just think it's the game companies have painted themselves into this weird corner, right? Where you have to play this game forever, any game forever, and it doesn't work. Nobody wants to play that. Will Outlaws do well? Yes. Why? Because it's Star Wars.
Right.
But you know the first week, right? No matter how good it is, according to the interwebs, there's a group of people waiting to bomb the shit out of it. According to how they talk.
Yeah.
Right? Waiting to bomb the shit out of it. Now, so the question is, does Ubisoft look at the game and say, okay, we know that we're going to get this X number of people who are going to pre-order this game. They want this game. They're going to get it, right? They're going to get this game. Doesn't matter. The ones that are unsure will hopefully get the $18 pass.
Exactly.
And we're going
That's
to
me
get
right
them
now.
for,
That's me right
and
now.
we're going to get them for 3 to 6 months, right? That's what, because Ubisoft thinks that, well, it doesn't, in their eyes, it doesn't matter. The IP is strong. Everybody wants a Star Wars game. It looks decent. They're trying to look past all the nonsense about it, and they just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Now, if it plays as good as we believe it does,
which I think
the game should do very well, right? But that's not the point for Ubisoft. Ubisoft wants to know how many people we can get for $18 a month.
Right.
They don't even care about how many people are going to buy that game. As a matter of fact,
right.
They don't want them to buy the game.
Right. They want the $18.
That's why the price point is so fucking high, right? They want that game. They want them in that ecosystem. That's where they want.
Right. Because you come in for Outlaws, you might as well stay for AC Shadows.
You might as well stay.
Right. Right. Oh, and by the way, at the end of AC Shadows, we have the DLC coming in for the season pass for Outlaws.
And by the way, the price sticker on that isn't magical. It's because it's Star Wars. Right. Somebody in the office says, this is Star Wars. We can't charge $75, $80. And they're like, you think they're going to pay more than that? And they go, you're damn right they're going to pay more than that.
Right.
We got the
Disney tax on there.
Right. Well, I want to put out $130. And they go like, well, we just can't charge $130. So what we'll do is we'll say you get the sprinkle stuff if you pay $130.
Well, they do the same thing with AC Shadows because now they've set the price with Outlaws, and they're like, you know what? We might as well put AC up there because then we'll make more money from AC. By that price, right? We'll put the Disney tax on AC, even though the Disney tax is not there.
Right. So the people who don't care and have disposable incomes that they don't care about, will throw the $130 at them, no problem. And everybody else who's hesitant goes, I don't know, I don't want to buy a game $70 and I don't even get the extra Java mission. Who wants to spend $130? I can't spend $130. I'll just get the $18 ones. Yeah. So like they actually physically put you in a cul-de-sac and they said, okay, either you jump over the fence or you dig a hole to get under it. That's it. You can't get out of this. You can't get out of this little area that we made for you that you have to get the game. That's it.
So one of the articles, one of the guys got to play it, and another article here talks about Star Wars Outlaws. It says, Star Wars Outlaws feels mediocre with the protagonist who's way too strong, okay, is what he says. And then down here inside a little bit, he says eventually, he says it was walled off areas, so they only could play certain sections or whatnot, right? So he doesn't know if they made the game easier or whatnot. He says, I have individual complaints with each of the sections, but my main gripe of Star Wars Outlaws based on the slice of the game is that Cave feels way too powerful. It's possible, he says, that Ubisoft put me in the easiest difficulty to preview it to make sure that we get through each one in a timely manner. But if that's not the case, then Outlaws is laughably easy. So the easy of the third part of the preview feels most damning. He says, I wanted to see what would happen if I broke stealth, enticing the dozens of nearby enemies, immense area to attack me all at once. I easily killed them all, subsequently completing the first part of the mission without even sneaking around. With the newfound confidence, I ran through the second half of the level, forgetting stealth entirely. Right? Now, I understand that he could be 100% correct. They could have put it on the easiest difficulty. Here's what I'm concerned about now. Him saying that this is super easy and you ran through, to say 30 hours, okay, to run through a mission and all the enemies you kill super fast, right? That seems a little alarming. Now, it could be on the easy mode, so because when they have media there, they try to get them through as fast as possible because they have so many stations and so many people that can play at certain times, and they want you to try it out, but at the same time they want you. So I hear what he's saying it could have been done easy. He says eventually I reached the locked door, and I couldn't go through it until all the enemies who had seen me were dead. I was far enough away, and I couldn't quite see the enemies all the way back at the start of an area, and my cursor occasionally changed from gray to red whenever the game registered that K was aiming at them. Even then, if I could no longer see them, I just held the trigger, whatever happened, sniped the guards without even having to aim myself, right? So it was like super easy mode, okay? He goes on to say that Kay's strength is also distracts from one of the core pillars of Outlaws. With Kay as adorable partner in crime, Nix is commanded by the aid of Kay in a number of ways, such as distracting guards, fetching out unreached weapons, exploding the grenade in person, pickpocketing, causing someone who just minding their own business is suddenly exploded is hilarious. But I never felt like I needed to use the command or any of the others in order to accomplish my goals.
Hang on. This sounds like journalist mode. That's what this sounds like.
Well, he said in the beginning, he said they could have put it on difficulty level easy. He doesn't know what the difficulty level was, right? So he says in the article they could have put it on difficulty.
This sounds like journalism mode. Is what this sounds like. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit there and press one button.
Well, that's what he's saying. That's why he's concerned. He's like, I'm concerned that she's a little OP in the game. So now, question, Sarge. Let's say it's not on easy mode and it is just a normal difficulty level for what it is. Does this take away from the game's 30 hours? That it's just a game that it's sort of like press X. And
it's a Star Wars.
Right. I'm just in a Star Wars game. I love being in Star Wars, but it's like super easy. It doesn't matter what you do. You're never going to die. It doesn't feel like a struggle, right? I'm not asking for Dark Souls, by the way, right? But I want to feel some sort of tension.
You're the minority.
I know I am.
You're the minority.
So I don't know.
It's just gonna be a slap happy game of Star Wars hooting and tooting around. It's gonna be a cool ass chick running around a pew 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 and gonna have us a good time. That's it. That's what it is. Right? Or is it gonna be like Red Dead Redemption?
See, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like Red Dead Redemption.
And like if it's like that, then it makes more. But if this journalist plays a test game and he's walking around pressing A the whole time,
he didn't feel like he. Right. He's just like. He wanted to see what happened
because we didn't want the journalist to cry because they have to play a game. You know, it's so hard to write and play video games for a living. It's just so difficult.
So everyone that played it said it was wonderful. They're like, "Oh, it's really polished, really good." But nobody brought up what this guy's bringing up. None of them. Okay,
that's why I don't buy things day one.
So now I'm a little concerned here because are the people that are selling right? We know Star Wars. Right? Star Wars does what Star Wars does. Disney does what they do when they promote stuff and tell you it's the best watched show on the internet and everyone loves it. And how can it be review bombed? And now you have content creators out there saying, oh, they played it and they love it. They love it. And it's polished. But one person speaks out and says, it seems pretty easy. It seems like a no-brainer. Like you could just you don't have to be in stealth mode. Like you could stealth, but it's just like you're not really stealth until once you break the immersion, everyone runs at you. You can kill everyone with no problem. And it auto aims and does all this other stuff. It's like super easy mode. If that's the case,
I guess the AI is playing for him. Then it doesn't matter,
right? And if that's the case, then I'm a little worried about this. But at the same time, I think that's Ubisoft's MO because they just want it to be super easy. They want you to get in for the $18, enjoy your time with the game, not have a sweat fest, and then just keep coming back to explore the world and whatnot, right? I don't know. Yep. That's what it feels like to me. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with when it comes out. The next thing I want to talk about, Sarge, is Sea of Thieves. Right? Sea of Thieves. PlayStation said that it was Sea of Thieves dominates PlayStation, dominates the PlayStation sales charts in North America and Europe. Okay, so last month when it came out at the end of the thing, it said sales charts share that Sony PlayStation have given the glimpse of Microsoft's success on the platform. Sea of Thieves launched on PlayStation a few weeks ago, and this article was done on the 15th or 13th. And it says dominates the charts on both North America and Europe, taking the top spot. Now, Microsoft has also had charts positioned for Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, Grounded, Fallout 4, and Minecraft. Now, on PlayStation 4, Minecraft topped the charts. Most likely, past gen remains the primary platform for many millions of youngsters. Right? So, this is the number one selling game on PlayStation when it came out. Okay, the next article, which also talks about it, and I talked about this earlier this week. All right, this one says Sea of Thieves player count dropping fast on PlayStation 5. Now, I said this was going to happen before they even launched. This is before the talk of it even coming onto PlayStation. I said, if it comes to PlayStation, I said there's going to be a big problem because there's been people playing the game for 5 years on Xbox and PC, and they know how to play the game. Now, obviously, you're going to have some players that have a crossover where they have a PC or have a PlayStation. Now they might try it on PlayStation, so the people that know what they're doing will be on PlayStation playing it on PlayStation, right? But for the most part, most people playing Sea of Thieves, because it's cross-platform, right? So these PlayStation players are now coming into a. We just talked about Riot Games and League of Legends, right? The new players coming in don't want to play competitively because they're just going to get their ass kicked for people that have been playing the game for many years. That's the same thing that's happening here right now. People that have been playing Sea of Thieves that know everything about the game and know how to fight and know how to board and know how to do all this stuff and everything. They have been playing this game for 5 years or such, 4 to 5 years, and now PlayStation players are coming in. They bought it for $40, and then all of a sudden now 2 weeks later they're leaving because whatever that reason is. If it's they're having that moment of this is fucking wasting my time. Maybe they're bored. Maybe they're like, I don't know what to fucking do. It's not holding my hand. Like there's so many things. Maybe a Kraken killed them 5 seconds before they turned in their chest. There's a lot of stuff happening here, right? So number one selling game, just a couple weeks after. Okay, now the first article we read was on the 15th, okay, or 13th, and this article was written on the 15th. All right, so just 2 days after they say they released the charts, it's the number one selling game on PlayStation. And now 2 days later, they have a thing saying the player base is leaving Sea of Thieves.
So what does that tell you?
It tells me that it doesn't fucking matter because Microsoft put it. It's been out for 5 years. They've made the money from the people that bought it on PC or bought it on Xbox. They made the money from the people playing on Game Pass and pay monthly things. They make the money from the Emporium store and all that stuff from those people. That's constantly still here, regardless if PlayStation got it or not. Okay, player base is going down a little bit. Okay, PlayStation now buys. There's an influx of people purchasing the actual Sea of Thieves, okay, and they bought the game. Microsoft's like, ta-da, because those people are not paying a monthly fee, right? And I'm asking this question, I don't know. Is Sea of Thieves on PlayStation Plus? Is it on PlayStation Plus, or is it only where you can purchase it on PlayStation? Let me know in the chat below or in the comment section if you listen to this after the fact, right? So does Microsoft care that you bought the game and now put it down? No, because it's a live service game, and when they put the next update in, you might come back and play it. You might come back and give it another shot. They might do an update and all of a sudden change something, and you might come back for it. But you already purchased the game. They win. They win.
But that's my point. My point is that it's disposable income. They bought a game, even though it's been out for 5 years. If you don't know what that game's about, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, you need PlayStation. You need PlayStation Plus to play it, by the way, because you need online access, by the way.
Right. So I buy the game that's been out for 5 years, and then immediately after I buy it, I don't care about the game anymore. So that says two things to me. Disposable income doesn't matter to you.
Right.
Right. Doesn't matter to you. And you don't care about being in that game.
Right.
You didn't care about the game to begin with. You just bought it to try it, and you put it down.
Right. PlayStation players are not going to make or break this game. The game's been out for 5 years, very successful. Even if it does shut down, let's say it's done 6 years, they're like, it's just player base is too low. They've already made their money off of this game multiple times over. That Emporium, the Pirate Emporium and stuff, you could buy a pirate ship skin for like $40. There's plenty, and you see them on when you play on PvP, you see people decked out because they like the game. There's a huge community, and again, you don't need 30 million people to play the game to be successful. You can have 100,000, 200,000 people constantly playing the game across, multiple platforms, okay, and be successful. I think this Sea of Thieves coming over, I think it's a success. It shows that they wanted to play the game. They might not be playing it now, but they already bought the game for $40. Sure, did some people maybe get a refund? Possibly, but it was still the number one selling game for the month that it came out. If a PlayStation game came out, it was the number one selling game. People be screaming from the rooftops, be like, "Oh, it's the number one selling game on this month." But a Microsoft game is up there, and they're like,
"Player base." Do they tell you? Do they tell you? Do they tell you how many people bought the game? Do they tell you how many PlayStation people bought the game?
No, they don't tell you that number.
No, they don't tell you, but they just say it's the number one selling game.
Yeah, PlayStation came out and said it was the number one selling game. Yeah, PlayStation came out and said it.
As opposed to what other games are being sold.
Well, it beat Call of Duty. It beat the other ones that came out. So I don't know what to tell you, but it did come out at the same time. It's all spin on words. It could have been 10 people that bought the game. It was the number one selling game, right?
Right. I know. This is what I mean. That's why I hate the words.
My point is, if the PlayStation base bought the game and then stops playing the game,
they don't care.
Sea of Thieves is fine. Because even the influx, look at what No Man's Sky does. No Man's Sky has update after update after update. They never charge anything for No Man's Sky. All their updates, all 27 updates that came out for No Man's Sky, nothing has been charged. But if you want to play that game, you have to buy it full price or maybe on sale. And that influx of every time they come out with a free update and update No Man's Sky, more people buy that game. And more people buy that game, and they could put it down in 2 minutes, or they could put it down in 200 hours. They make an influx of money. Microsoft did what they were supposed to do. They made an influx of money from a game that was only on their platform that no one else is paying for, okay? And now they put it on another platform, and now they made the influx of money of that. And that could be $4 million. That could be $40 million. That could be $400 million. We have no idea how many they sold, but that's what the thing is. I don't think this is a big deal if PlayStation players stop playing again, because the community was fine for the 5 years that it's been out for the consoles and PlayStation or PC.
5 years is a long time, man, for a video
for any game. One game still being played, right? So that's that. Next story I want to talk about is there's an image of Todd Howard was on Matty Plays. Matty Plays had an interview with him. He was talking about Starfield, and he was talking about Fallout and whatnot. And some of the things here, it says in a new Todd Howard interview, it says confirms that Starfield is getting a year two. So there's a Shattered Space coming out this year. Okay. And then he says he wants to make a 10-year plan for Starfield, which is not really surprising because Fallout 76 is 5 years into their thing. Skyrim's been around for 12, 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but nobody said we wanted Skyrim the last 10 years.
No.
It just did.
Fallout had plenty. Fallout had plenty of other updates with Far Harbor and all the other stuff. And in this interview, he says we want to make content like Far Harbor. So Shattered Space is about the size of like a Far Harbor content for Fallout, right? He also says that Bethesda is planning a yearly story expansion for Starfield 1. So this is good news, right? So if you're a Starfield fan, every year, if you play the game, play it for 20 hours for a new story type of thing for Shattered Space, and then all of a sudden you put the game down, you can come back 6, 8, 9 months later for the next expansion and then continue playing it, sort of like what Fallout 76 is doing, right? They keep updating the story stuff and putting stuff in. It says Shattered Space will be entirely handcrafted locations. So instead of doing the procedurally generated 1,000 planets out there, Shattered Space is going to be in all. He didn't say, I don't think all, but basically all the DLCs that are coming out, they're going to be handcrafted. Handcrafted meaning that their team is making it in one location. They're going to deck it out, make it actual DLC type of content. It's not going to be procedurally generated. So like you walking around Atlantis or Neon or Aquila City and stuff like that, they're going to handcraft the locations of what this is. He also mentioned that the remastering, because we thought Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, all the remasters might come out because it was on that FTC list of what they do, Oblivion and whatnot. He says here remastering the old Fallouts and the Elder Scrolls games currently not a priority, which means they're doing it, just not a priority, right? They have other priorities going on. And then it says that Starfield has 14 million plus players that played, bought, hate, whatever. 14 million people interacted with Starfield at some point. So that's impressive in itself. Now, a lot of people don't know the sales numbers, but again, do they really care? Because they did say that Starfield had more subscribers come into Game Pass than anything they've done before. And that is the goal, right? The goal is to bring people in. Now, we don't know the stat that those people that came in to Game Pass, are they still into Game Pass? Did they stay? Did they purchase something off Game Pass? Did they come in for Starfield and then picked up something else? Did they buy another game off of Game Pass or Xbox ecosystem? Did they buy a DLC off of something? Did they pay another month of Game Pass? We don't know these stats, but these are interesting. So, Sarge, first, what do you think about the content constantly coming out, and they wanted to support it for 10 years? What do you think about that first?
You're talking about for Starfield.
Starfield. Yeah, Starfield.
I mean, I know we talk in circles sometimes, but we talked about Starfield before Starfield came out, and we said that if the game is as big as we think it is, that what they're basically constructing is a giant sandbox in which for them to add on for as long as they want.
Right.
So the belief to people was, oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like Skyrim. We're going to go all these, going to be these cities and things and all. And so what it ended up being is this emptiness of nothing, which we knew was coming because it's space, right? Space doesn't look like Manhattan, right? Space looks like North Dakota, right? There are pockets of civilization and a lot of empty space in between. But the empty space is basically seeds for you because Modders can make things on planets. They can make their own things on planets.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. You basically literally made an empty sandbox with pockets of things to do that you can fill up with whatever you want. If they wanted to, let's be honest, if they wanted to, Starfield basically is 76, just not multiplayer. I mean, that's what it is.
Correct. Krebsy's saying it's a video game, though. They have infinite space regardless if it's set in space. You're correct, Krebsy, but at the same time, unlike Star Wars, people that usually make something, like, for instance, if it's on planet Earth, then you could only make content on Earth, maybe the moon or whatever it was set in the story. Because Starfield is set in the universe and there's 1,000 planets out there,
Whatever you want.
they can use 1,000 planets. Obviously, they can make another portion that's a planet that you haven't found yet and add it to it, and you're absolutely correct there. It's a video game, you can add, keep space. But for the lore of the game, there's 1,000 planets in the game that you could put something on or make a story based around it and whatnot. Dave Langer asks me, 30, do you think that there will be a Starfield Online like ESO or Fallout 76? I said this well before Starfield even came out. I said that Starfield, just like Hogwarts Legacy, I believe that Hogwarts Legacy will do something along the lines of Grand Theft Auto / Fallout 76. I think Starfield will do the same thing. I think because Fallout 76 was a test, it was a test, 100% it was a test. I believe that Starfield will have some sort of multiplayer down the road. They don't have to put it right away. They can make it a different mode. I've said this. I know Lono did a video today talking about that he thinks there's going to be an online mode. I said this 2 years ago when they first announced it. I said, I think they're going to come out. I said, I can't imagine them making 1,000 planets in a world and have it just single player the entire time. Now, we do know about the extra MMO that they're making from ZeniMax Studios. We don't know what that is. They could be an MMO for Starfield. I don't think they make an MMO. I think they make a Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is so successful. It was a broken, buggy, unfinished game at launch. It shouldn't even seen the light of day. It was in worse shape than Redfall, okay? And yet, here we are 5 years later. This game is exploding. There's 30 million people playing this game across all platforms, okay? They're making money hand over fist because of the Fallout the Fallout show on Amazon now gave it more, right? It went ba-boom. Right, so when they say priority doesn't need to be on Fallout 5, Fallout 76 is that game that can continue on 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and they can just keep adding content to it, right? They can just keep adding a Fallout, and if you don't want to play that Fallout game because you want your single-player Fallout game, they're already there. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, you can get the mods of Fallout London and Fallout Miami and Fallout whatever else. That's there. Modders have done it for you, okay, and are going to do that for you. Bethesda's like, hold my beer, right? You don't need a Fallout 5 right now. You don't need an Elder Scrolls 6 right now.
Why would we interrupt the flow?
Right.
Why would we interrupt the money flow when we're making all this money from this game? Why don't we just wait till it dies off, lulls out, and we decide at that point, which one do we do? Is the lull bigger for ESO or is the lull bigger for Fallout?
Right.
And then when they're ready, then they release the new game and restart.
Right.
They restart the influx for people who want to play.
They're there. And look, say what you want about Bethesda, but Bethesda does what Bethesda does. Just like Nintendo does what Nintendo does. Bethesda puts a game out there and says, this is what it is, baby. This is what it is. We know you like it. We know you hate it. But guess what? We're going to be here and we're going to keep supporting the game going forward. If you like it or not, you might not think we're putting stuff that you like in the game, but we're still supporting the game. And they go on and go on. You can play Elder Scrolls 6, Elder Scrolls Online. If you can't wait for Elder Scrolls 6, well, go back and play Elder Scrolls 5. Go back and play the other games. They're still there. You can play them. They're still great. There's mods that make it better, and you can wait your time. You're like, you know what? I can't play Elder Scrolls 6, but I'm going to download that mod that makes this game better. And not to say that mods are fixing the game, but Bethesda knows they've cultivated this community around the type of game that they have, and talk shit about it. Doesn't matter. It's more word going, yep, here we are. Like, people hate Starfield, and yet here we are talking about Starfield daily because someone still has to talk about how bad it is, how there's tiles, how all the stuff is happening, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Starfield is still in the forefront of your brain talking about it, and it's genius. It's genius. So I'm excited that they're supporting it moving forward. I'm interested, though, that they said they're going to have expansions yearly for this, like handcrafted DLC, like they did with Fallout.
Let's not get excited yet.
Well, I'm not excited, but I'm
when you say the word handcrafted, I'm not getting a mahogany rocking chair from Bethesda.
He said they're making content like Far Harbor and stuff like that.
I get it, but I don't get excited for the word handcrafted. Okay, I don't fall for the lingo anymore. Your word salad. I'll wait to see what the title is, what it is. If it's any good at all, we'll talk. But handcrafted. Ooh, handcrafted.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then the 14 million players, right? People look at that and go,
it's a good number.
Right. We don't know if that's sales. We don't know if that's playing. We don't know what, right?
Well, listen, they could say 14 million played it this month. It could be the same 40,000 people log it in like 100 times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're never specific with the language. They just tell you the words that sound good, that make the game sound better. Great. If the game's around in 5 years, we know something's good about it, because otherwise it would be gone. Right. Don't forget, they're still mad about Skyrim.
Yeah,
still mad. Right?
That people were still playing the game and they couldn't make money off of it. They're like, we're never going to do that again. We're never going to do that again. Every game that comes out,
we are never making a game like this again without making some money on it.
Without making microtransactions or something along the way. Right. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
All right. Next story I want to talk about is that EA. Okay, EA. People love to hate EA, right? EA execs earned $60 million in 2024 despite layoffs and office closures. Okay. It says here, a note it in the company's annual proxy statement, which details an executive compensation plan. EA's named executive officers collectively earned over $60 million during the last fiscal year, and total includes individuals' base salaries, stock awards, initiative plans, compensation. And the biggest earner is Android Wilson, right? Android took home $25.6 million after helping the company execute on key strategy and operating objectives, such as restructuring business around the new look at EA Sports, EA Entertainment pillars, and launching the EA Sports FC brand. Wilson also lauded overseeing a year of continued employee satisfaction, a score above industry benchmarks, and strategically aligned studio leadership to support franchise development and success. Now, for those curious on what the compensation shakes out at the very top are, the company at EA, Wilson earned a base salary of $1.3 million. Okay, so that's his base salary, $1.3 million. Okay, and received a $20.4 million in stock rewards. Okay, and then netted another $3.44 million via a non-equity incentive plan. Other payments include almost $500,000 in personal security benefits. On top of that, EA explained that during the 2024 fiscal year, the annual total compensation for median employees was $148,704. That means Wilson earned 172 times more than your mid-tier, EA worker. And Wilson also earned significantly more than 2024 and had both of 2023 with $20.6 million and $19.8 million. The second highest earner at EA execs during the last fiscal year was Lauren Mealy, president of EA Entertainment Technology. Her central development received over $12 million, including her base salary of $820,000, stock rewards also $10.5 million, and non-equity incentive plan compensation for $1.2 million. So what they're talking about here, Sarge, is that he's not saying it, but he's saying it in the article. Like, obviously, with these layoffs, these guys could take pay cuts. Right, these guys could have taken pay cuts and saved all these people's jobs. Right, that's what they're saying with this article. So, what do you think about this? Do you think that Android Wilson and the other executive should give a percentage of their money so other people could save all the jobs?
You always put me in these positions where I'm supposed to be talking.
I mean, I could say it first.
The corporation. Like, look, business is business.
I know.
Okay. So if I'm able, it's hard to talk about this in a neutral manner because it bothers me, right? If I were to say to you, we can make $3 billion this year, but in order to make the $3 billion, we're going to have to let go of 50% of the staff next year in March.
Right.
That's basically the deal that they say to themselves.
Yeah,
we're going to make $3 billion. And so they say, do we do this or not?
Yeah,
and so they go, yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
But what ends up happening is when the original way businesses worked, especially video games, was you got the loan, you had your producer, whatever the guy who had the money, right? You get your loans, you make the game, right? It takes 3 to 5, and then you sell the game, and you're supposed to make about 3 or 4 times back on your money, hopefully, right? Right, enough to pay back the loan and to continue making another game, right? Hopefully without another loan, right? It's your own money, right?
Right.
But let's remember, when you're in business, right? If I made $1 billion off the first game I ever made, I got lucky, right? and I spent $150 million on it. That means I had to take a $150 million loan. I made $1 billion. Right. Do you think that I'm going to use my money to pay for the next game?
You never used your own money.
You never use your own money.
Never.
So you would just put that money into something else, and you would take another loan out to make the next game. Right. But the way that they talk about these CEOs and these guys that they want them to take a pay cut, like if we're talking about saving people's jobs, it would have to be like across the board. You would say, okay, this team is really good.
Right.
We had a really good product. Right? I don't know why we're letting you go, but we're going to just discuss this. Great team, made a great game, but we have to fire you. Or everybody takes a 15% pay cut. Everybody. Not the top guy only.
Right.
Everybody to save the jobs. So now, do you think they'd say yes?
No, they wouldn't. And this, I was going to bring this up. Yeah, I was going to bring this up, right? Because everyone wants the guy at the top to take a pay cut. El Dente says they should be a salary cap. His salary is only... His salary is only $1.3 million.
We're gonna get to that part. Hold back.
His salary is only $1.3 million. It's stock options and stuff on that he gets paid, right?
That's where he gets the money from.
Right. So the person that's making $148,000 in the company, that's pretty fucking good, right? Now I could give you a point of where I come from, right? So I worked in the film industry, right? The actors get paid a shit ton more than the people making the film, right? I make the film. I'm the camera guy, right? And there's a team of us. Without us, there's no fucking movie, right? So who would be more important? The person acting in the movie or the person holding the camera to make the movie, right? Anyone could hold the camera to make a movie, right? But you need the camera, right? No, I understand, but right? Anyone could just hold a camera to make a movie, but I get paid a certain amount, right? So let's say it's $400 for the day, okay? I work 20 days, I get $400 a day. Doesn't matter if I get 12, 15, 16 hours, I get time and a half, whatever, I get another day rate, whatever. Okay, the actor in front of me gets paid thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, and they come on set. I'm there for 12 hours. They're there for 12 hours, but they're in their trailers sleeping, having lunch, reading a book. I'm working, right? I get paid $400. They get paid thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars. They come on set. They work for an hour or two, and then they go back to their trailer. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks. See you on the call sheet, right? And they go away. They might only be there for 10 days for total film time. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm there for 60 days. Okay. Still making my $400 a day. Right. So am I supposed to get mad because they should take a pay cut so I can get paid more? If that was the case, then the movie wouldn't cost $150 million. It would cost fucking $1 billion, because if everyone's making $1,000 a day, then the budgets go straight up and you wouldn't be able to see the movie because the movie would take so long to get made. Right. So I'm assuming the same thing with video games, right? Video games is the person's making $148,000. If jobs want to be saved, okay, I look at it as that everyone should take a pay cut, because if you're asking the top guys to take a pay cut, then you should be willing to take a pay cut as well. But that's the way I believe, because just because I make less than you, a percentage is a percentage. And if we need a certain amount of money to go back in the company, then everyone should take a pay cut, not just the guys that are richer than you, because you don't know where they came from. You don't know how much time they put in to get where they were. Now, I'm not protecting Android Wilson, okay? But if Andrew Wilson didn't come up with the monetization practice that they have for Madden and FIFA, okay, then they wouldn't be making billions of dollars. And if they didn't make billions of dollars, then the people wouldn't be getting a salary of $148,000. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, but now I'm gonna press back on that. Yes, I understand. The microtransactions have blown up the budgets because they got this influx of money.
Sure.
So they were able to offer people working more money. But the rationale is if your games cost more to make because you raise the prices of your employees, but your game is not monetizable like the rest of the games are, then at the end of that pay period, when that game is over, yeah, you're going to get fired because that game's not bringing in the same amount of money as a FIFA or Madden, right? Everything's not based off of the company as a whole. They base it off of the individual products that they make. If Madden makes $1 billion, the guys who make Madden could just sit there forever. They don't do anything. Right? Because they get all the microtransaction money, so they can drive around whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It doesn't count. They don't care. That's part of the problem. But the other team is making another game. They worked hard, 5 years, 7 years, only saw their kids 3 times a month, right? But they got paid $188,000 a year, right?
Right.
To not see their kids. But now the game didn't do well. So now what?
They still got paid their money.
My point is, I believe that the budgets for the games are bloated. They are bloated because of the other money that they're making on the side that are factored into these companies. If the salaries were based on how the game is produced and what the game brings in, these budgets would not be out of control. They're trying to chase the dragon. They want every game to be a FIFA or a Madden. Why do you think EA keeps talking about making Battlefield into a FIFA?
Right.
You think I'm going to touch a fucking Battlefield game if you're going to make it into another FIFA?
Right.
I don't give a shit. I don't care anymore. I'll go find something else to play.
Here's a perfect example. On a set one time, we were underwater, basically, like not physically underwater, but like we were dying, right? The camera crew that we had, I was the first. We had the camera operator first, second, and we needed somebody else, but they wouldn't hire somebody else. So what we did ourselves, the camera department ourselves, is that we threw some of our money to hire another person because it was worth it for us to. So I would give, a quarter of my pay to bring in that extra person so we can hire a fourth person to be on the camera department to help us what we were doing, right? Because it would make our jobs easier. Producer wasn't going to give us that fucking money, because the producer had his budget for that game or for that film, right? So it's irritating, yes, right? To look at them and go,
business.
Yeah, business is business, right? And they're looking at it and going, well, these guys should take a pay cut because they made millions of dollars. Now, let's talk about it. He makes $1.3 million. That's his salary. Steve Jobs made $1. That's what he used to get paid from Apple, but he made hundreds of millions of dollars, right? But he got $1 for his salary, right? So Android Wilson's is $1.3 million, right? And everything else is stock options, stock awards. It's $3.44 million via the non-equity incentive plan, all right? And because he got this, the reason he got the bonus is because of the industry benchmarks and strategically aligning studio leadership and sort of, right? Like, he lined up the stuff so they can get money, but that's why they give him stock options and whatnot, right? And remember now, the board of directors that hires the CEO is also making a shit ton of money. Are they taking pay cuts? They're not taking pay cuts, right? Those guys are not taking pay cuts. No one's taking pay cuts. Nobody wants to take a pay cut across the board. Someone has to take a pay cut because where are you else getting the money from, right? If they're tapped out of the money because they don't want to use their money, right? You never use your money, right? They don't want to use this extra money. They're like, well, what do we do with this? Well, what do we do? Well, we don't want to touch our money. And no one wants to give us money, so we got to fire people somehow. Anybody want to give out money? Everyone's like,
that's correct.
Nope, I'm not going to give out. No, because I don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now.
I guess we're laying off another 500 people.
That's exactly right.
I don't understand why everyone. How many years of this do you need to have before the discussion? This is how it is, right? This is how it is. The product was based on the blood, sweat, and tears of the people making the product. The scrotes make the product. The big guy gets the money. He does marketing with his team and whatever else, but the scrotes make the game. So now maybe you guys are sitting behind your computer desk right now and thinking, well, how much is somebody really worth, right? So if he gets paid 1.3 million and a scrote guy gets, let's say, 100,000,
he gets 150,000, yeah.
Right? Is he worth? Is the top guy worth
10 times more
than that guy?
Right?
Is he doing 10 times the work because of the money he's getting paid? We can break it down that way if you want, and I think everyone will be upset because, like, well, I'm pretty sure that guy's not doing the same job 10 times worth of what this guy's doing, and this is why you'll have some people in discussions, and this is always my favorite discussion to have. If you want to throw a rock into your friendship pool,
never talk about salaries.
Right, when you sit around and talk with your buddies, bring this up. Say, do you guys believe in a minimum wage or not? This is always a great conversation because some people always say is, well, if you don't have a minimum wage, people will just offer you a nickel and then that's it.
Yep.
Right. But what really happens, right, in a normal world, if you let it play out, is if somebody offers you the bare minimum, it's up to you as the individual to say yes or no to that stupid little amount of money. Right. So let's say we had no minimum wage, right? You walk into Publix and you say, hey, I like to have a job. And they go, well, what are you good at? Never had a job before. Don't know what I'm doing. I'd like to work here.
I'll give you a nickel.
I'll give you a nickel an hour. And you say to the guy,
wow, thanks, sir.
Right? Whether or not you think you can live on a nickel or not, he offers you the nickel. Now you say yes or no. Now, if everybody says no, then the price goes up. Right? Now we're offering you 10 cents. If everybody says no,
right,
it'll go up again. If there's no minimum wage, you have to be willing to wait it out until someone offers you a number that you want. But lo and behold, for some strange reason, there's always somebody willing to take less money than you.
That's right.
And live in a shack with 15 other people.
That's right.
And that's how this works.
There was so many job offers I would get, and they would go, "We got a job coming in, and we'll give you $150 a day." I'm like, no, I wouldn't even take the job. Sure, I could work that day and work 10 days, right? 10 days and make that money, okay? Or I could work 2 days and make the same amount of money, okay? So I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because if I took that, then I would diminish my value of what I'm doing and everybody else around me. So once that other person, the PA that comes in and takes that job because they want to get into the industry, they take that job for $100 and then they bitch about it. They're like, well, I worked 16 hours that day, I only got $100. Well, you're a fucking moron, right? You're a fucking moron because you wanted to do it, right? You said yes, right? So I took a job, worked on a movie. It was called Get Some at the time, which came out as Never Back Down. It was my last PA job I had. Okay, I got paid $200. Okay, actually, I got paid $150 a day straight, no overtime, no nothing. I worked 22 hours a day. I slept on set. I was the first one on, last one out. I was the second AD, but I got credited as first production assistant. Okay, and people felt so bad for me because I was out there for so many days that the actors, the grips, the gaffer, the first AC, they all bought me gifts because I was so underpaid for what I was doing. Okay, I got thousands of dollars worth of gifts from people because they felt bad. They're like, man, this guy's working his ass off and he's only getting paid $150. $150. Where the job I took they should have paid me $1,100 a day union rate because of first AC and whatnot, right? Or I'm sorry, first AD. Okay, and I did what I had to do because that was my way of breaking in to get the respect of the people, right? Now, I didn't bitch about it. I'm still not bitching about it. Okay, I did my time, and then after that, I got into the camera union and whatnot, and the rest is history. Okay, but I did what I had to do at the time to take that job because no one else would take the job. But they had that budget, and they're like, "This is all we could give you," and I'm like, "All right, sure, right?" And that's what it is. So for these people to go, well, I think that AD he should have given a pay cut and could have given me a little bit more extra money, right? That's not expected from people, right? And I look at that way. I look at it as, I don't think Android Wilson should take a pay cut. I don't think the other executive should take a pay cut. I don't think the developer that makes the highest, if he makes $150,000 and the next developer below him makes $90,000, I don't think he should take a pay cut either.
Do you want to know what I really believe? And I'm going to be honest about this one. I believe that because of COVID and the dramatic increase in computer game sales because of COVID, they thought that was going to last forever, which we all know was stupid. But they hired all these people and hired all these new divisions and all these new companies, all right? And when the pandemic didn't last forever, surprise, right? You have to now get rid of all these people. So do they get rid of them all at once? No, they don't. They assign everyone games with the money that they had, and whether the game make it or break it didn't matter, because now based on the numbers, we can say, can't keep you, gotta go. Why do you think so many people got fired after COVID? Right? It's just, you want to call it the nice way you can say it? It's a market correction. You can call it that, but that's what this is, right? All these people got hired. All these people got offered more money. Great. I can guarantee you, if we look at the base salary for the programmers now as before COVID, I guarantee you it's higher. I guarantee you the game companies now are bloated. They are bloated.
What just happened to McDonald's? McDonald's raised the minimum wage in California to $25, and then 10,000 people lost their job. Should someone take a pay cut? No, they did it to themselves because they're ballooning the price and they can't get the price. And they're like, well, yeah, we'll give you the $25. But yeah, we just have to fire 10,000 people so the other people can get less money because now they're cutting your hours, right? So you're not working 40 hours a week anymore, right? But you made that $25. Congratulations, you got the $25, but now you're working half the time, and now we lost 10,000 people because of the job. It's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing. Yeah, it's got to go somewhere. The companies are not going to lose money because companies got to do companies. They got to do this, man. They have to, right? They've constantly get more money, and this is why they give the salary to the big guys. Oh, he's only making 1.3 million, but his bonus is fucking 20 times the size of that, right? Because
they want to keep him because they want to keep him.
That's right. But it's stocks, or if it's investment things, and it's whatever it is, right?
I wholeheartedly believe that the prices got out of whack once COVID happened, and they thought it was going to be like the golden goose forever, and that's not. And this is just as a giant market adjustment. I guarantee you, a few more years from now, that's exactly how they're going to talk. They don't talk about it when it's happening because they're too busy trying to root it in with all the other bullshit in the world. But there's no way you can hire that many people over that short amount of time because you think the world's coming to an end,
Right.
and everyone's gonna play video games until they die in their house. Like that's not what was going to happen, but that's how they planned it out.
The problem with that, El Dente, is that I know you're not saying they take a pay cut. You're saying they should be a standard cap. The reason with the cap, though, is if they make a certain amount of money, they still have to spend that money because they pay more taxes, and they have to move that money around to then whatever it is. They'll just make up a game just to put it on a shelf, just so it's a tax write-off, right? Movie companies do this all the time, right? And I know we're talking about video games.
How many games are canceled, guys?
Yeah, you don't even know. You don't even know how many games are canceled.
How many games are canceled, guys? How many games are canceled?
So the problem with the salary cap is if you put a salary cap to those guys at 5 million, right, for the CEOs, let's say, then you have to have a salary cap for the developers and workers as well. Like they can't make over a certain amount, and then they can't. So then what will happen is a developer, let's say, starts at like 90,000, and let's say their max cap that they can work for is 110,000. And they work for that company for 5 years, and they give them a 2% increase every year for a certain period of time. And then they hit their max. They're like, well, that's all I can give you. They're like, well, what the fuck? Right? I'm worth more than that. And then they have to leave. Right? And that's why there's no salary cap for stuff like that. Because if there's a salary cap for one person, there's got to be a salary cap for everybody. Okay? You can't just because this guy makes $1 million, you're like, well, I can make $1 million too. It doesn't work that way. Because if you make $1 million, then there's 3 people behind you that are going to get fired because you better do the work of the 3 people that you just took the money from, right? That's how it works. So that's what's hard about a salary cap. This is why look at sports. Certain teams don't have salary caps. They just keep throwing money to make the best team as possible because they have more money to do with, and they're like, well, I make so much. Right. I have so much money. What do I do with this? Well, I got to buy cars and buildings and other jobs and put a video game out there and make another movie. I got to shift this money around because otherwise I'm going to be sitting on a lot of cash, and we can't have that. Right. We got to make it look like we need more money coming in. Right. And that's the problem with the salary caps for a lot of these things. It's not just as simple as that. But let's go to one last story. Okay. One last story is Netflix. I think this is fucking hilarious. Okay.
We've gone full circle.
We've gone 100% upside down in the world, where Netflix was literally created because they didn't want to go to the movies anymore. They didn't want to. They had a physical disc. Okay. The physical disc of this. And then all of a sudden, then they went digital, and now they went and they hit the saturation point. It's like 250 million people. And then they did the password thing, and then they lost a lot of people, but they're still the highest grossing, the most successful streaming service that's out there. Okay. But now they're making brick and mortar movie theaters again, right? So they bought 2 theaters last year or 2 years ago, one in LA and one in New York. Then they just bought 2 new ones. I forget what one of them's in Dallas and the other one is in Philadelphia. Okay, so now they have 4 theaters, right? Last week we talked about how Sony bought out Alamo Drafthouse, took them out of bankruptcy, and now Sony owns Alamo Drafthouse. They have 34 theaters or something like that. Now Netflix is opening it up, and they're opening up in malls now, right? They opened up in malls. There's going to be 100,000 square foot areas of stuff, and they're not calling them theaters. Right? They're taking a place where you can watch movies in a mall, okay, but they're not going to call them theaters, they're venues. And in these venues, they're going to they did pop-up shops for a couple of years where they would do like Bridgerton or Stranger Things or the Squid Games, where like if you picture like the lobby, instead of just being a regular theater where you walk in and buy, you see the posters and whatnot, and then buy your snacks, what they're doing now is making this an event, making this a venue. Now, they don't tell any prices or anything like that. They just say they're going to make it a venue, an experience type of thing. So let's say a new what's a good show that's on Netflix, like a new show that's on Netflix. I forget one. Let's say it's Stranger Things season 5 or whatever it is. They would decorate these theaters or venues where it would look like an 80s arcade. They would look like it's all thematically around Stranger Things. The food that they make for that actual venue would be from like the 80s type of stuff. They would make the cocktails and the drinks and the food and all that stuff, all thematic. You could come dressed as an 80s character in that thing. They make it an event. They make it a whole thing. Now, people complain right now that movie theaters are too expensive, right? You're paying $15, $20 for a movie. You're paying another $20 for popcorn and a drink. Okay, you got the recliners now. There's less seats in the theater. All of this stuff. How much do you think? Now, we don't know the price. They didn't tell us the price. But obviously, this is not a regular theater, right? So they're going to try to make this, and that's going to cost money, right? To make it all thematically for the Stranger Things type of thing. And then all of a sudden, now they're going to also have the theater there where you're going to go watch the movie. So what do you think, Sarge? I personally think this is going to cost anywhere between like $60 and $100 per ticket. Right, because it's an experience. It's not just going to the movies.
Well, if it's a full dinner, if we're talking like a full dinner type of thing,
like cocktails,
movie, right? I'll be honest with you. All right, they're gonna make it a destination type of place. I guarantee you, it's got to be between $75 and a bill a head. That's between $75 and $100 per head. So you go on a date, it's $2
Yeah, I think if they keep it small enough. And they only have a couple theaters throughout the thing, and it's an event. It's a spectator. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a Broadway show type of thing, right? I can see them doing this, but to make it like a regular theater, where you're just going to watch something. The funny part is you can just watch this from your house, right? Because they're going to be showing Netflix movies in the venue. So you could just go to your house and watch it, or you can have the experience yourself. So you're not really paying for the movie. You're paying for the experience that they're making for you in the lobby and the food and the drinks, right? I don't know. Do you think this is going to make it? I mean, the pop-up shops obviously did well. This is why they're expanding out to full-fledged like standalone buildings now.
We talked about this, I think, last week. The conspiracy theory is overwhelming to me on how the theater industry destroyed themselves by doing streaming. And then the streaming services no longer can make money by selling people to houses. So they have to get back to the individual tickets again. So they're going to go back to theaters again. It's almost comical.
It is.
Right?
It's fucking hilarious.
The greed of the services, thinking that they would rather circumvent the theater to sell it to somebody's house. But nobody in accounting said, hey, if we're selling it to a household, but not to individuals, we're going to make less because the household has 4 people plus in it, as opposed to charging a person a ticket per head in the theater. And nobody discussed this with them, but the greed factor was too high. We could just make a service and we'll just charge whatever. Paying 25, 30, even $50 a month for a service isn't enough, as opposed to having someone have to go to the theater to pay to watch a movie. Right. Once again, when we were younger, if a movie came out and you didn't see it in the theater, you didn't get to watch it on TV for at least a year.
Right.
At least a year. You guys get a movie now. If it doesn't do well in six weeks, never mind 6 months, in 6 weeks, it's on a service for you to watch. It's incredible. Right. And for them to say, now we're going to go back and build buildings, but don't call them theaters, to put people in rooms with screens to watch movies, is hilarious to me.
So
it's hilarious.
This is an article from last year, right? It's Netflix celebrates Japanese fans with only Netflix pop-up event, right? So this is basically what they're doing, right? But instead of a pop-up event, they're actually going to have physical places. So on this, it says the only on Netflix event, which runs a month from today, is divided into 2 journeys. The Love Route offers a visitor's the opportunity to experience a romantic nostalgia first love prominent through Regency-era gardens inspired by Bridgerton, and an invasion of the perfect first date and La Amélie of Paris, or Emily of Paris, on the adventure route. Visitors enter the Nevermore Wednesday, jump into Upside Down, Stranger Things, and play the game, right? So you can see that they have like thematic like stuff in the lobbies. Okay, in Japan,
you mean like what they did when movie theaters first came out?
Yes.
You mean like that?
Remember when we went to go see Return of the Jedi? Remember when we went to go see Return of the Jedi and the whole lobby was dressed up and they had the fucking Ewok village and they had the Ewoks hanging from the
No, we saw Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
In Man's Chinese
Theater. The whole fucking thing was decked out. Yeah.
everybody in that place and outside was dressed completely in Star Wars. The whole inside was decorated in Star Wars. So that was like movie theaters back in the day. When you went to the theater, it had one screen. It showed one movie, right? And it showed that movie for like 6 months, just the same movie, right? But when you're in a theater with like 1,500 people all watching the same movie, it's a completely different experience than watching a movie in a small theater.
Right, and they would have thematic drinks and whatnot. And again, I don't think these are things that I guess you could be right. Where they only put them in the theater first before it comes out on Netflix itself. But I think the event is going to the actual thematic play. I don't know, man. I find this hilarious on one end. And look, I'm for theaters. I'm for theaters. I want theaters to live. And I actually said this is what they need to do to movies to bring back an experience. Like have these. I said it last week with the Alamo Drafthouse. I said Alamo Drafthouse does these thematic type of stuff. Where if they show like Police Academy movies, then the whole theater is like dressed out in Police Academy. The waiters and servers are dressed in police outfits. The food is thematic after it. Yeah, they make it an experience where you're not just going to a theater or whatnot. And that's the only way I think they can get people to come back to have an experience. Like you're not just going to a movie to watch a movie. You're going to there to have a good time and see other things. But I think this is a very niche thing that they're doing. And obviously it is a niche thing. This is why they only have 2 theaters, one in Texas and one in Philadelphia.
Well, but that's because you have to see if you can be profitable and if it's scalable. Very important in business. If we're going to redo the movie theater business, will people be willing to come out and do this? If the answer is yes,
depends on the price.
And it's scalable, then they pick major metropolitan areas. They don't put it everywhere. It'll be like in Chicago and Miami, like all the big cities. That's where you put them. It's an experience type of place, and you see where it goes.
Right.
Because they're probably trying to figure out how to get back the money that they're missing from taking movies out. Listen, it's a greed move. I had to split the movie profits with the guys at the theater because they ran the theater and we weren't allowed to own theaters. So we destroyed the theater so nobody goes to theaters anymore. And now we're going to open up our own theaters, circumventing the middleman once again. And then I guess you're going to tell me they couldn't make enough money to keep the theater open, right? Like I don't get it.
Here, I'm trying to find other pictures and stuff so you guys can see, right? So this is what they have in the lobby, right? They have a Stranger Things where they have it decked out in Stranger Things, the fog, right? They have games and stuff to play. They right? Like so this is it. I don't know, man. To me, this is like you walk in. This is so high end. Where it's like a fucking museum. You're walking in, you're paying an admission fee to walk through a museum like you're in the film, and then you walk in to watch the movie from a thing that you can watch on your television set, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Look, this one's literally for One Piece. They have fucking stanchions out with a hat from the One Piece. Like it is like a fucking museum. Like, get out of here, man. Right? The snack bar in the store. Oh, good. You can buy swag. Again, these are the pop-up shop type of thing. Holy Christ. This is gonna be something.
But I'm telling you right now, major metropolitan areas, incomes are higher. People have more disposable income. If they're looking for something to do, especially for a date night, you know how women are.
I know.
They love to do these cutesy things. Like a guy straight up is not probably going to go hang out in this place.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh, look at us. We're in front of the ice cream from Stranger Things. Oh my God.
All day.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
All day.
It's going to be a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Fucking look at me. Look at me. I just spent $200 to watch Stranger Things. And then someone's like, I'm watching Stranger Things too, right? In my house right now. Like
on my phone. I'm watching it on my phone.
I'm literally watching it on my cell phone as I'm tweeting this. Like,
yeah, you know it's how it's going to be.
It's
right.
That's going to be ridiculous.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if enough people actually go there and want to keep the place open. We'll see. I think they're going about it the wrong way by turning it into a museum and that kind of nonsense. You want to decorate, that's one thing, but this nonsense that they're trying to do, no, just no.
Aliens, yes, women love attention. Yeah, like yeah, you are a woman, so you would know. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think this is it's a good idea because they're trying to get people back in the theater. But if that price point is $50, $70, $100, right? Like, but your food's included, right?
Is anybody in chat from a major metropolitan area? Is anybody in like a big city, like a big one? Like the big ones. Anybody?
Oh yeah, we have people from all over the fucking world that are
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like a Chicago or New York, like someplace big, a big one. Like what? How much does it cost to go see a movie? Boston's big, right, Dave? All right, come up, Melrose, Des Moines. Come on, buddy. I mean, it's kind of big. But Dave, how much is a movie in Boston? How much are movies in Boston?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Right. So 15.
That's literally just coming into your cum stained seats that you just come in and just sit down. That's $15.
$15.
Right,
So
never been cleaned, steamed, or anything.
He's going with his wife. $30.
That's $30.
And concession, another 30.
Yeah, we got to sneak in gummy bears and stuff. You don't buy the concession stand. Yeah.
Well, but we're going to call it at least the same, right? So, So let's just call it 60, right? Now $60. So do you think you're going to leave the house and go watch if
I can watch Stranger Things season 5 on my couch, I'm not spending $100 to go watch Stranger Things in the movie theater.
You're talking about things that are already out. I'm talking about a new movie. It's all decked out. We're gonna go watch the movie. If you paid $60 for the normal movie, I'm pretty sure you pay $120 or $140.
Okay.
For the spectator one, right? I'm telling you.
Okay. If you do that, how many times a year are you doing that?
Well, normal people back in the day, you would see movies like twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, once a week sometimes.
Do you think
not
people
anymore, not anymore?
Do you think people are going to go to these pop-up Netflix or this Netflix show twice a month?
Twice a month.
You think they're going to
in a major metropolitan area, that people that have the disposable income to do so? Yes. Half the people in this chat, including myself, maybe more than half. No, that's not for you. It's not for you. I'm telling you, it's not for you.
Alien says she agrees with you. Yeah. For Netflix
Girls
was a Transformers show in the venue.
Girls want to get out of the house. Girls want to get out of the house and put on a dress. Trust me.
I love Transformers, but if I can watch Transformers at my house on Netflix, I am not paying $100, especially with my wife, who doesn't give two shits about Transformers. Okay, I'd be like, you just stay home and watch it. I'll go to the theater, right? Like, I love theaters, but I'm not paying $100. And again, I don't know what the price is, but I'm not paying $100 to watch Transformers. I would rather go buy $100 Transformers, okay, than go watch $100 Transformers.
But you guys are making convoluted now. We're not talking about regular concession. We're talking about an actual meal. You're going to an event to watch a movie and have a meal. $100 a head is not a lot if that's what you're doing. Dinner and a movie.
Let me see.
Normally, dinner and a movie normally is $100 a head.
Let me see if I can find a price for this. Right, a price for the pop up. Let's see. Netflix pop up goes right. Netflix pop up shows price. Ads, no. Launches online popcorn, no. Owns popcorn, plans and price. This is just Netflix.
You can't put the word concession in there. I'm talking about, like, you're going for the event. It's dinner and a show. That's what this is. So $100 between $75 and $100 a head is probably not. I guarantee you that's what it's going to be. Depending on what you order.
Netflix is also selling popcorn now at Walmart.
Yeah,
they're in the popcorn business now.
Because
Netflix is in the popcorn business. Better. Yeah.
It's so bizarro to me. We've gone full circle, right?
I was just going to say, I can't find the price. I find it funny that we have gone full circle where these companies put the movie industries in the predicament that they're in, and now they're going back and buying movie theaters to make the movie theaters again. Make the problem, solve the solution.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah,
nothing to see here.
I think a lot of people have been that way, Alien. Alien says, I've become such a homebody since the pandemic. Dragging my bottom to the movie theater would take a lot. Not even Henry Cavill can do it anymore. Yeah, right? Okay, Henry Cavill just became a father. He did a post on Twitter the other day. He's a father. Can you imagine? Superman, dad. Like, he's actually Superman, right? That kid better get him the Superman cup. Yeah. I wanted to actually go to the theater. We're going to go see Garfield.
Thank you, Krebsy. Thank you. That's a good point.
Medieval Times is like $70. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in that show of Medieval Times. There's there's horse trainers and the knights and the actors and stuff like that. You have a good 25, 30 people, right? That's basically what it is. You're absolutely right, though, Krebsy. Like, the Netflix is trying to make medieval times of Netflix. They're like, hey, you want to do it with Squid Games? You could walk across this obstacle course before you get to the theater. Ooh, I'll pay $70. Take a picture with the Stranger Thing. What's the monster called in Stranger Things? Yeah, it's like, that's exactly what it is, Krebsy. It's medieval times for Netflix. Amazing.
I just want you to know, do you know how many dates I just walked out on when they pick up their phone, take pictures of selfies or food or any kind of bullshit? I just leave. I've actually left. I actually just leave.
I hate this. I hate people that do a photo show of their fucking food that comes out. Like, they're like taking like plates and like bending the light and like, what the fuck are you doing? Just eat your food. The picture's already taken, right? Like, there's 1,000 pictures in the fucking thing. Just shut up and eat your food. Fucking flashes going off as I'm trying to eat my food in a restaurant. Go fuck yourself. Nobody gives a shit about your potato link soup and you're taking a picture of it. Oh my god. Fucking hate it. And I'm a guy that comes from the film industry that takes pictures for a living, right? Fucking swear to God. Anyway, that's going to do it for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way.
I took a gummy before the show. I'm so happy I took a gummy before the show. I've been so much more angry.
You seem more mellow, Sarge.
More mellow this show.
Episode 401 is in the can. We do appreciate you very much coming out. If you like this type of podcast, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this every Thursday. There is no show next week. I'm on vacation. I leave on Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and I'll be gone for about 7 days. So I will not be doing live shows after Tuesday morning. So next week, I'm live on Monday. I'm live on Tuesday. I will not be on Lono's show tomorrow because I have to get stuff done before I leave next week. So I'm taking Friday off to get my shit together before I leave. And then I'll be back after vacation. I'll be back for like 10 days, and then I leave again for another week. So appreciate it very much for you guys coming out. If you like this, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit a follow button for me on 30 and Still Gaming on Twitter. Sarge has got a Twitter as well. Got the X or whatever you want to fucking call it. I don't even know what it is. Appreciate it very much. If you guys have any ideas for you would like to see on my channel, on our Discord, we have a feedback channel, like a little room. You could throw your feedback in there. If you like the show, if you hate the show, what you'd like to see more of, what you don't like to see. Obviously, it's just feedback. I don't have to actually listen to you. It's just put your feedback out there, and if I like it, I might change up stuff on the show. So. I do appreciate you guys. I really do. I love that these guys come out, or guys and gals come out every single week when we do these shows and do the live streams. So I do appreciate you. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.